Wendy Bell Radio is live.
He was just mean to me.
What?
He was just mean to me. Just going to let you know, out of the gates, first thing that happens, he's mean to me before we come on the air. So that's my mindset.
What did I say?
It doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter. Hey, you're already throwing money at us. This is wonderful. What's going on, T. Brooks? Ordered a Wendy and Brock mug. My Brock mug came broken, so I mentioned it in the chat. Brock said he would send another one. Today, I'm drinking out of my Brock mug. Best customer service ever.
We don't listen.
Yeah, if stuff happens, we don't want you to get shafted.
Right.
You guys have already walked through shitty merchandise with us to better merchandise with us to now what I think is really nice merchandise with us.
By the way, have you tried that shirt on again?
I haven't. I will. I will put it on today. So we're gonna maybe I'll wear it tomorrow. Maybe that's what I'll do. It's a beautiful color. So we'll see. Anyway, how's everybody? Good to be with you. We were number 7 on the leaderboard yesterday. I love it. We have the smallest following, right, of the leaderboard. We usually have the least amount of views. And I'm not talking like by a little bit, by a lot of it. And because of you, we're in the top 10 every day. That's what you do. Because if I sit here and I talk and he pushes his buttons, but you guys don't do what you do, this doesn't work out. So one more time, I love you.
Clock have the countdown?
350, yes.
No.
Ooh,
Wendy's got her clock back.
I'm so excited, but now we've got 2, which is great.
Yeah, you can turn that one off.
I have a hard time keeping this. You know what I'm going to do so it doesn't keep shifting. How are you guys? How you doing? I got fussy this morning sitting alone in basically the dark, which probably says something about my mental state.
Mm.
But before Brock and I even had the opportunity to say good morning to each other, I was already stewing about ridiculous stuff. Do you guys see that it's coming out a lot faster now? Do you see that the time elapsed between when something comes out that they expect you to believe to us or someone dismantling the whole thing and us laughing about them has gotten so much faster?
And it's all based on the conversation we had this morning about the hantavirus.
Right.
It's so ridiculous.
Well,
Instead of
like
Wutan,
right.
now it's a cruise ship. Instead of some bat pooping in some water soup at a wet market and people eating it, now it's 2 bird watchers who are in their 70s going to a trash heap in Chile or wherever they were. I mean, it's so ridiculous.
Come on, honey, get the checkbook. We're taking a cruise.
Yeah, we're gonna go look at birds in a trash heap. It'll be romantic.
The one that roosts with all of the filth of humanity. Let's
Honey,
go.
watch the shit. Don't step in it.
I
But
don't
you'll
know
get a
what
better
to
look.
pack. What do I pack? Is this like culotte weather or is it jeans? What are we doing? Yes, that's. And so that's Hanta. Oh, booga, booga, booga. And you're like, okay, someone's gonna kill me if it's that some rat poo. Okay, fine. I'm sweating now. Okay, woo!
Now you see a mouse in your house and you're like, oh, I'm going to get the hantavirus.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, I want to read this to you. Hey, Wendy, this is from Mike from Tennessee. And he goes, we've been taking Blood Flow 7 for almost 2 months now and love it. I'm not sure how we made it this far without it. My wife and I have both experienced a vast improvement in our energy level since we started taking it. I started the Alpha Gold Male about 3 weeks ago. I'm now taking one of each every morning because I found that Blood Flow 7 helps with energy, but the Alpha Gold Male helps in other ways.
Ooh, how you doing?
Bow, chicka, bow, bow. So anyway.
No trash heap for them.
That's right. There we go. Blood Flow 7. It opens up your blood vessels so that more blood can flow. And when more blood flows, it is amazing how much better you do with everything, how much better you feel. I swear by this. This is my numero uno. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. I take 2 of these capsules every day at the same time. Hello. It's totally affordable, 30% off. It's like $1 a day. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. And thanks, Mike. Now I've got an image.
Some people go bird watching. Some people take alpha gold mail.
Some people go bird watching. First of all, I wouldn't mind bird watching.
Not a trash heap.
I would.
I'm not going to the dump to watch it. I mean, really, like.
I'm not going to a trash heap. I'm going to watch it. This is how we laughing hysterically this morning while walking Murphy. Yes, I loved it. It worked out.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
We are not going back, not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we are converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hello, America, and greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. What a joy to be here with you on the Wendy Bell radio program. It is always fun to talk about common sense conservatism because it never goes out of style, right? It never gets old. It never leads you in the wrong direction. It never has you knocking on the wrong door, right? Common sense conservatism. This is what we talk about every day on the show. And while we do it, it's exciting to be able to say to you, the time that it takes for us to sniff out BS and expose it, laugh at it, and move on is so fast now, you guys. We got a lot to celebrate on today's program, okay? President Trump making some big moves for families yesterday, moms in particular. And it struck a nerve with me. We're going to talk about it and so much more after the most important part of the whole program. WendyBellRadio.com. That's how you find us. That's not the most important part. This is. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to my neighbor's house, she and her wife, and about 25 years between them, which is a very interesting story. 2 women, married, 2 great kids, and they're both personal trainers. They both have their own clientele, and they both literally work hour by hour from 6 in the morning until probably 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Training people, literally, it's a revolving door, one after another. And the particular person who I work out with these 2 women, we were talking this morning in the gym, and I said to them, because this is where we would normally be watching the news. I don't watch the news generally, but it's always on in the gym in the morning. And I said to all of the people in the gym today, I'm like, whatever happened with Nancy Guthrie? Whatever happened to that? Because literally for 4 weeks, 2 of the 4 weeks, wall to wall, nonstop, every single moment was breaking news. Nancy Guthrie, 84-year-old woman with a cane, just disappears, poof, from her Arizona home. And I want to get this straight, right? We are no closer to finding an 84-year-old woman with a cane than we were 101 days ago. That's how long it's been, you guys. However, we can go to the dark side of the moon. Tell me how that works out. We can fiddle with a virus the furin cleavage site. I know, it's sexy when I talk science to you, right? Which told us what? Oh, the virus had been manipulated. Curious. To make it deadlier for humans. Oh, thanks, Fauci, you perjurous liar, right? We could do that, fiddle with a virus, unleash it to the world, kill millions of people, but we can't find an 84-year-old freaking woman with a limp, right? The mystery, what happened to her? It was 24 hours. And I was like, look, I didn't understand the 24-hour stuff, but I do understand loving your mom. I think that if somebody goes missing in this country and we have the opportunity to pull together and try to find that individual, that we should do that. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a full month and no needles moved, right? What do we learn? Well, her pacemaker or what have you, defibrillator, whatever it was, stopped transmitting at a certain time. The door camera stopped working shortly before that. Nancy's car was missing. That's it. That's all we know. And then there's some video of some guy walking up looking like Sasquatch who's fiddling with it and putting like weeds on. I'm like, what are we doing? What do we get? What do we get? We've got a $1 million reward plus $100,000 from the FBI. It was nonstop, wall-to-wall, choppers, dogs, infrared. You got like what? People with their crystal balls. Let's have a seance. What does everybody know about this? Zero. You mean to tell me that after 101 days of state-of-the-art law enforcement with science and technology that is unparalleled, you mean to tell me that in a world today where we're now waking up with the knowledge that aliens have been not only, yes, known, but maybe they've been involved in some weird breeding program with human beings? What? And that this has been going on for a while, but we can't find an 84-year-old woman with a cane. Are you out of your mind? Anybody else feel weird about this? Anybody? And then I had to start thinking about this. Why was it such wall to wall? Because her daughter is Savannah Guthrie. She's not that great. I'm sorry. Nobody deserves to lose their mom and never get closure. But it's not like she's like some rock star. Like, what have you? We've got television people all the time. We had to glom onto this one woman, and we're still no closer today than we were. What else is going on in the world, ladies and gentlemen? I question everything. I question the timing of everything. Did you see what President Trump truthed out this morning? I sent it to Brock, but I said I didn't want to play it because it's long. But it's Jonathan Turley talking to Will Cain. President Trump truths this out to hundreds of millions of people around the world, ladies and gentlemen. People wake up in Iran watching this. People wake up in Egypt, in Israel, in Pakistan, in the UK, Canada, everywhere. And what's the one thing that President Trump truths about this morning? He puts out a video from Fox News with Will Cain talking to law professor Jonathan Turley about whistleblowers who've come forward to members of Congress to say that Adam Schiff is the guy who's been the conduit of all of the secrets that have been leaked, all of the stories about Russia collusion and all that stuff. And Donald Trump puts that, wake up 8:13 in the morning Eastern time, bingo, that's what he sends out to the world. Adam Schiff is a scumbag. Okay, so we've got something actual that's going on, which is the unwinding of the deep state, which is the exposing of the desperation by which the measures Democrats will go in terms of winning anything, trampling democracy, packing the court, going against legal precedent, impeaching an entire panel of Supreme Court justices so you can bring in the ones that you want that vote the way you want them to vote. Are you out of your mind? You've got that circus over here, a la the endless search for Nancy Guthrie. And then over here with the president, we're having burn bags found in secret FBI offices with thumb drives and other documents that have been left behind. We have whistleblowers going to members of Congress and unwinding all of the players. We have Nicolas freaking Maduro in American custody. Do you not think that the former president of Venezuela is not singing like a flippin' bird trying to save his own hide and basically connecting all of the dots of the theft of the 2020 election? Like, it's all right here, which is why they needed Nancy Guthrie, and that pisses me off. And you know who's the biggest defender of it all? Fox News. Fox News, it's like all of a sudden for 100 days, at least 30 of them, they forgot what it was like to actually do news. They're like, this is all we have. Right after this, we've got more breaking news. Nancy Guthrie, don't miss it. And literally after 24 hours, you could smell it. What are they hiding? Or what are they smoke screening? What do they not want us talking about? Because you know what? Nobody in my neighborhood was talking about Nancy Guthrie. They didn't talk about her on day 1, day 8, or day 100. So why? Now, I don't like being suspicious. I don't want to meet you and consider what your ulterior motives are. I don't want to look at you suspiciously and be like, what's their real story? But when it comes to the media, when it comes to the news, when it comes to the Democrats, when it comes to desperation, I believe no one and I trust nothing. And this is where we are. And you know what? It's a good thing. It is a good thing because we are waking up, my friends. So much has happened in the last several years, but we are, as a party, as a Republican Party that is filled with conservative, make America great again, America-loving patriots, truly, who have fought for years so that we all could be on this same page on this day. We're seeing exactly what is going on, and the Republicans are beating the Democrats at their own game. Again, if you're ever doubtful of what the deep state is up to, listen to their favorite mouthpieces squawk on and on and on about Trump and his administration, because everything they accuse the Republican Party of doing, they've already done. And are probably in the process of still doing. Trump put out that message for a reason today. Don't you get so comfortable, deep staters? It's called grand conspiracy for a reason, because it doesn't have a statute of limitations. We're not burdened by those rules. We can come after each and every single one of you, which is why maybe John Brennan is sounding awfully nervous, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's a beautiful day to be an American. When we come back, Hakeem Jeffries, well, we know he already is a low IQ Obama, but he's desperate to hold on to that speaker's gavel. Let me have it. So much so that he calls these Virginia lawmakers to get them to fiddle with the laws. Oh, Hakeem. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
How's it feel?
What?
You have the clock back.
It's, you know what? It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. How does it feel to know this wasn't going to last? It's 1,052 degrees in here. I'm just going to say that. So for anybody,
Is that an official temperature?
It is. I can tell you the normal temperature of my body post-menopause or in menopause is a scorching 1,000. So this is where we are. Anyway, tell them about Sniper. Tell them about what we got going on the Sniper website, because I think it's really exciting. Lots of great options.
Yeah, there's some soil that Wendy has over there. Bags of soil that you can get now. It's organic. You can get it for your flowers.
You mean fertilizer?
Fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
And for roses and veggies and fruit trees.
So Coast of Maine is something new that our friend is getting in bed with, basically. And he's like, I really like this organic fruit and vegetable tree. He's got azaleas, rhododendron, roses, all of it. And it's all right now at a wonderful discount for a bundle, right?
Yeah, if you can bundle it, you get I think it's a bottle of Harmony and a bag of either the fruit and veggies or the flowers, and a bottle of Harmony for like $80, which is it's
a steal.
Pretty good deal.
Total steal. And so that's what we're doing. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Disinfectwithsniper.com. It's a great time to get foostering out in the yard. I told Brock today I'm going to do that this morning, or when I get back, rather, from work. This is my objective today, is get that stuff spread in my yard. I love what they do, and I think disinfectwithsniper.com. There's not a product on there that I would not buy.
No, you actually said that you're going to go do your
And then he's
stay
like,
away
"I
from my host.
and I'm like, well, no, I got busy yesterday.
Stay away from my
As
hostas.
he took a nap.
They have things there to get rid of deer from eating Wendy's hostas.
Yeah. It's all about the hosta.
Everything on that site, organic and safe for pets and kids and
1.2. Let's get up to 1.5. We could get 1.5. See, if we were smart, we would pace ourselves on the Rumble because we don't want to get crazy too fast. Don't want to get my head too big. So 500 a half hour is absolutely lovely. I could point whore and ask you questions endlessly. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to point whore on the comment section here under the video box, not the Rumble section, on the,
Not the
comment,
chat,
not the chat.
comment.
Excuse me. What do you think happened with Nancy Guthrie? What do you think that was? I've never seen a missing person be. I don't even think the Lindbergh baby got that kind of coverage. So, what was going on? What was that all about? I'm curious. Do you guys have a vibe on that? Like, and it pisses me off. She's no closer to getting her mom. Wall to this article I put up here, and like a fool, I didn't log in during the commercial break, and now it's blocking me and not recognizing me. I love when that happens. Here's what we're gonna do. I want to tell you here. I'm gonna try this one thing, guys. Bear with me. The story that I want to share with you is about the desperation. I think it's a bad look. It's definitely a bad look, and it makes me happy to be a Republican to watch the Democrats losing their minds because basically the Republicans have caught on. It's been a little while, but we're finally catching on to what's going on. And the whole gerrymandering of certain states to the benefit of Black voters, right, under the guise of equal rights, is not something that we do in this country. And the Supreme Court said so. And now there's this mad scramble along the southern states to make sure that the primaries, all of this stuff is ready before the primaries hit. And there's a big redistricting scramble. You've been following it too. But when Virginia decided to change the rules, decided to push across a referendum and have people vote on it, allegedly, to demand that basically they redistrict the states and carve down the 5-4 Democrat to Republican majority to make it like an 8-1 or a 9-0, something like that, right? Where we're going to lose all of our representation. And the Supreme Court comes out and like, no, you can't do that. Or the Supreme Court of Virginia does. Hakeem Jeffries is counting on Virginia for a pickup of 4 congressional seats for Democrats for the midterms, period. And he needs that to happen in order for him to get the gavel back. He is a low IQ individual. He is a poor leader. He is a poor replacement for Nancy Pelosi, who, as dirty as stones as she was, you got to tip your hat to the woman for being able to galvanize a party and get all of the donors money in the right places. This is not Hakeem Jeffries' role. But I do want to read you this because the New York Times busted this, which is curious. And this is the headline: a private call reveals Democrats' desperation over tossing of map. A conversation involving House members from Virginia and the top House Democrat reflected the fury and the desperation that has gripped the party after Friday's ruling in the state. All of this stuff, all of the legal wrangling over how we draw congressional districts. Isn't it so funny how you see how little you matter? These people fighting for democracy, fighting to win they're not fighting for you. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with this most remarkable experiment. It just doesn't. And it's so gross when you sit back and you watch it and you see the desperation and you hear the words that they say. They're afraid. Hakeem Jeffries is qualified, literally, to do nothing else in the world. This is that moment. Democrats are struggling to respond to a major redistricting setback in Virginia, with some party leaders discussing an audacious and possibly far-fetched idea for trying to restore a congressional map voided by the court, but showing little indication that they have a clear plan. During a private discussion Saturday that included Democrat House members from Virginia and Representative Hakeem Jeffries of New York, the minority leader, the lawmakers vented anger at their defeat at the Virginia Supreme Court, spoke about a collective determination to flip 2 or 3 Republican-held seats under the existing map, and discussed a bank shot proposal to redraw the congressional lines anyway, according to 3 people who participated in the call. So you're just going to then go out and defy the law. That's called being above the law. No one's above the law. Didn't they tell us that? Donald Trump's not above the law. Who does he think he is? When we make up all sorts of crap about him, he's not allowed to defend himself honorably. We get to hold back information that could help him defend himself. He's not above the law. Really? What are you doing, Hakeem? You guys heard about this absolutely ridiculous 2-bit brain thing. Well, what we're going to do is, since we don't like the ruling of the Virginia Supreme Court, we're just going to go in and we're going to say, even though the mandatory retirement age for most state Supreme Courts is 70, the youngest person on the Supreme Court in Virginia that just overturned their racial gerrymandering is 54. So we're going to what we're going to do, this is a great idea. Hey, Bill, get in here. Here we go. All right. Look, I know the court screwed us. I know the high court is the court of the land, and they really screwed us. But here's what we're going to do anyway. We're going to just rewrite the rules, okay? And we're going to slip it in. And it's going to say that if you're over 54, you have to retire. If you're a Supreme Court justice in the Commonwealth of Virginia, nobody will pick up on it. We'll get rid of all those people. Then we'll pack the court with Democrats that we want. But wait a minute. That's going to take some time, isn't it? Wow. Let's try to do it anyway. This is literally the conversation in my mind. I don't know, but this is what I hear. We're not going to listen to the rules. We're not going to listen to precedent. We're not going to follow the Constitution. We're going to trample it. It's so funny to me that the Republicans are the ones who follow the law. The Republicans are the ones who pay attention to, adhere to the rulings. This president has been under a microscope for the better part of a decade. Do you think if he didn't, we wouldn't have heard about it, right? He's had to walk every single step in such a way. And here in a huge, blatant, in-your-face moment, Hakeem Jeffries and Virginia Democrats are trying to concoct some way to stay in power. It's rabid, it's diagnosable, it's deranged, and it's illegal. And I can't wait to watch him absolutely slither away into the depths of the unknown, Hakeem Jeffries. So when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, this is the moment you know that the deep state is serious and scared. John Brennan, former CIA director, admits there is a whole gaggle of operatives inside the DOJ to thwart Trump. Oh my, next. So I think this is something that's very necessary in my conversations with you guys about collagen. So I told you that I'm going to say 2 months ago, we started taking collagen every day. And I believe that I'm beginning to see the effects of it. Like I said, I was at the gym today, and the benefits for your skin. Collagen can boost skin elasticity, can reduce wrinkles, can improve moisture by stimulating collagen production in the dermis, with studies showing noticeable effects after 4 to 8 weeks. I'm beginning to see this. Collagen is the most abundant protein in your body. It acts as a key structural component for skin and bones and joints and muscles and connective tissues. It provides strength, elasticity, and support, helping maintain firmness and hydration as you age. So if you could get something that was so affordable, because getnativepath.com/Wendy gets it to you for up to 45% off. If you could take a scoop of this every day, and put it in your coffee, in your water, whatever you're drinking, because it's flavorless, and shake it up and drink it down. Would that be worth it to you to try for 2 or 3 months? I would. I'm noticing a difference, and the people at the gym today noticed it too. That's the first time. That's the first time I paid attention. GetNativePath.com/Wendy. 45% up to 45% off. What? Me like. Hey, by the way, if you guys have not tried our coffee yet, coffee from Crescent Mountain Coffee, I just opened a bag of Shizzle. We leave our Patriot blend out and it gets drunk. I can tell you that. And so we came in today and I'm like, no more coffee. So I opened up. It's just delicious. CrescentMountainCoffee.com. We make 10%. We make 10%, and that 10% we like to give to other people. So it's sort of our fun way to have our own brand of coffee, which is, it's our own formula. It's approved by the FDA. Literally has to go through that process. And then the proceeds we make, we donate, which is fun. So CrescentMountainCoffee.com. It's not as cool as having your own AR-15 magazine. But I've got that too.
You mean the Second Amendment commemorative gift?
Second Amendment commander. Yes. Hold on. How badass is that? This is our second iteration. This has my favorite. This is
The Second Amendment.
the Second Amendment. It's beautiful. And if you were really cool.
Oh, boy.
My favorite, the coasters. Aren't they beautiful? Conservative, American.
Don't sell it too hard. I think we're in single digits.
WendyBellRadio.com. They're just beautiful things. Absolutely beautiful things. So thank you so much for supporting us all the time. I love you guys.
I think we're going to do, hopefully Wendy likes the shirt and is okay with the shirt. That we're going to do those. We're going to probably do the Zippo lighters. Maybe like just 50 of them just to see.
I think so.
Because I think a lot of people say they collect them. I didn't know it was a thing. I use mine. I just bought an insert to make it butane, but they turned out really nice. As soon as Wendy decides what she wants.
And then we will have ornaments.
Yeah, at Christmas time.
So it's going to be the Gary Varvel of me on one side and Brock on the other, which I think is cute.
And I think what we're going to do is the guy we're working with had a great idea. He's able to manipulate the picture a little bit and move where Gary's name is, because I wanted to keep that on there. And Wendy's going to sign. We had 100. We're having 100 made. And Wendy's going to sign 20 of them. So you'll have a 1 in 5 chance of getting an autographed Wendy Bell Radio.
I'm also doing some of that with Texas Bullion Exchange. And I floated the idea of them minting our own Wendy Bell Radio silver coin.
Which would be cool.
Which would be just cool. I think it would. I think people would enjoy it. I think you would get it. And I think a lot of people then would open up a conversation with Texas Bullion Exchange. And I told him that. I'm like, I think a lot of people don't know what to talk about. Right. So, but I think it'll be fun. They want to shoot. I guess they're doing some national television and they want to feature me.
They didn't ask about me. The before and after. Before, when you don't have any silver or gold, and then they can pan over to you after, and you can be like, fabulous.
Yes.
Oh, we still have those too.
Yes. Anywho, it's great to be with you guys. And I got my clock back. It's weird. I'm used to looking here now, so I have to look up here. All right, I'm back.
Baby's back, baby.
Back. With coffee breath. How you doing? But it's Crescent Mountain coffee.
It's good.
So my twins told Joe and me the other day, 17, almost 18 years old. Actually, it was while you were in the car, Brock. We were driving home from golfing on Sunday. Brock took us all golfing, took the twins for their graduation gift, and I tagged along to nag. And we're driving out to the golf course, and they're playing our music from the 70s and the 80s and whatnot. And both boys, they admitted, your music is a lot better than ours. And I was like, yeah. So we've got some new songs for you. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, I heard this, this one audio clip. It's very small. And it's sort of like, how are you going to do a 14-minute segment on like a minute and 30-second audio clip? I think this one particular interview, this one exchange between former CIA director John Brennan, who's, of course, fingered in this grand conspiracy takedown of the president, the Russia collusion debacle, and all of the other nonsense that ensued. I think he's beginning to feel it, right? Because in this exchange with Nicole Wallace over at MS Now, so stupid, they tell you everything that you need to know. And if you're not paying attention, you miss it. Because it's like just noise. And then I listened a little bit more closely and I was like, wait. What was that she just said? And then I'm like, whoa. What did he just say? And I want you to hear it because even the Gateway pundit I found honed in on this and was like, this is the most ridiculous thing. John Brennan admitting that there is a legion of deep state operatives in the DOJ and the CIA who are resisting President Trump's orders. Say what? That's sort of like the seditious six, putting out there into the ethos to any active duty military member, that whole mutiny thing, that whole treasonous, traitorous thing. Well, you know, if you don't really agree with what the commander says, it is your obligation to say no. I'm pretty sure that's not how it goes, but they put it out there. Why would they put it out there? Former CIA Director John Brennan admitted to MS Now anchor Nicole Wallace that there is a legion of deep state operatives in the DOJ and the CIA resisting Trump's orders. And MS Now hack Nicole Wallace absurdly accused President Trump of turning the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation into political arms of his political operation. That's so rich, right? Wasn't he the one who was sitting at Mar-a-Lago in August of 2022? When CNN and the New York Times were tipped off to it, and they're like, we're going live. Something's going on here at Mar-a-Lago. Can't tell what it is. Oh, here comes a team to like bust down the door and rifle through Melania's lingerie. What are they looking for? They're looking for the binder of Crossfire Hurricane, all the details Donald Trump knew about, all of the details they were desperate to get back, right? That was the DOJ. That was the FBI going after their political enemy, which, by the way, Donald Trump got impeached for the first time, right? With that phone call. Okay, so let's set this up. All right, here we go. I want you to hear the whole clip because you kind of almost don't catch it at first, and then we're going to bust it down for you so you can hear how damning and how exposing and how brazenly brash this is. So overt on live television to admit, one, that you're a deep stater, and that two, the apparatus is still fully engaged to do whatever it takes, full-on warfare, to stop this president. Here's Nicole Wallace and John Brennan.
Trump says these people are dirty. Todd Blanche says we're lucky to have Trump involved in this. Kash Patel says I have a bat phone into the Oval Office. He has succeeded largely in turning DOJ and the FBI into political arms of his political operation. What still exists in the system to slow that down?
Well, I think, as Liz mentioned, there's still a legion of professionals in the law enforcement environment, the Department of Justice, as well as the CIA and other places, the ones who are refusing to follow politically motivated prosecutions, those who are refusing to support any type of political activities on the part of the Trump administration that are inconsistent with the authorities, the responsibilities of the intelligence community, law enforcement community, and Department of Justice. So we have to rely on these individuals to stand up to their professional responsibilities and also to the courts, to the judges, to those judges who in fact took an oath of allegiance to the law, not to a political party, not to a person, And, I'd like to think that there are still some members of Congress. Certainly, I'm looking for the Republicans who at one point had spoken out against Donald Trump and had spoken in support of the law, but they seem to have just totally caved. And I think, as has been said, what has happened to our institutions is really going to have longstanding damage to these institutions, to our system of justice.
Okay, so did you hear it? Because I'm going to tell you what I heard. I just heard that deep state operatives, corrupt partisan judges, fake Republicans in Congress, and the propaganda media are all working in concert to protect one another to basically destroy America from within. That's basically what it is. And you're like, wow, that's a stretch. Where did she come up with that? Well, let me defend my thesis. You ready? Let's start with Nicole Wallace. Just the first, 19 seconds? This is what she says. She basically asks a former CIA director what the deep state is doing to stop Trump's DOJ from uncovering their grand conspiracy. That's what Nicole Wallace is asking here. Listen again.
Trump says these people are dirty. Todd Blanche says we're lucky to have Trump involved in this. Kash Patel says I have a bat phone into the Oval Office. He has succeeded largely in turning DOJ and the FBI into political arms of his political operation. What still exists in the system to slow that down?
What exists in the system to slow that down? Where are the speed bumps? Where's the roundabouts? Where's the nail strips? How are we slowing down them finding out what the heck we've been up to, John? And he looks like he's just seen a ghost. He's always boring as heck to listen to anyhow. But when he's scared and sphinctered, oh yeah, it's solemn. Like he's got an ashy gray appearance. His response, the first several, 25 seconds of it, he says, look, I'm paraphrasing. This is how I hear it. You tell me if I'm wrong. Don't worry, Nicole. We won't let this DOJ uncover our crimes. We have a bunch of deep state operatives still employed by the department who will protect us. Listen.
There's still a legion of professionals in the law enforcement environment, the Department of Justice, as well as the CIA and other places, the ones who are refusing to follow politically motivated prosecutions, those who are refusing to support any type of political activities on the part of the Trump administration that are inconsistent with the authorities, the responsibilities of the intelligence community, law enforcement community, and Department of Justice.
We have a legion of operatives all throughout the DOJ. They're in the FBI. They're in the CIA. And we're ready. They're activated. We know a legion. That reminds me, do you guys remember? I'm a product of the 70s. I remember waking up Saturday mornings. It was always the Super Friends. And remember the Legion of Doom? This is what it sounds like. I'm going to flash you back. Brock edited this for us. Enjoy. Wrong. It's the Super Friends versus the Legion of Doom. You've got the Trump administration, the Super Friends, the people who are out there fixing wars. We're trying to feed starving people. We're trying to get rare earth mineral deals so we can create AI, all of this, and help other countries. We're trying to protect all these ships going through. We got the Super Friends. There's superpowers everywhere. And then you've got the, we will stop them at every turn. And that's what these wackadoodles are on MS now. Now, it's a bit of a stretch, yes. But is it really? Is it really? We have a legion of operatives ready to go. And then he says this. Then he says, we also have judges on the payroll. So if our deep state operatives don't stop this grand conspiracy case from moving ahead, our liberal activist hack judges, they're ready for action. Listen to John Brennan. He basically says that.
So we have to rely on these individuals to stand up to their professional responsibilities, and also to the courts, to the judges, to those judges who in fact took an oath of allegiance to the law, not to a political party, not to a person.
Oh, they took an allegiance to the law. Is that right? He's like all the judges who have stopped this president from doing anything he's wanted to do. Shut the border, keep it open, fly that, criminal gang banging, whatever guy, MS-13, kill Mar Abrego guards, send him to Seagull, bring him back, right? We're going to bring in tariffs. Stop the tariffs. It's unconstitutional. It's everything he does. We've got this legion of activist judges who, when the operatives inside the DOJ fail, you've got the judges. And when they fail, don't forget about the deep state rhinos who we've insulted for years in exchange for helping us destroy America from the inside out. That's exactly what John Brennan says here. Congress, we expect some people in Congress. That's the call to the deep state rhinos. Hey, you guys better do your job. Listen.
And, I'd like to think that there are still some members of Congress. Certainly, I'm looking for the Republicans who at one point had spoken out against Donald Trump and had spoken in support of the law, but they seem to have just totally caved. And I think, as has been said, what has happened to our institutions is really going to have longstanding damage to these institutions, to our system of justice.
No, it's going to have a longstanding damage to your institutions of justice, not mine. Ooh, you guys fouled this whole system up years ago. How long ago? I mean, if we were to go back to the genesis of corruption, like how far back do we need to wind back the calendar? I wanted you to hear that specifically. In one literal sentence, he was able to identify that there's a legion of operatives inside the DOJ ready to stop the president's agenda, that there are judges on the bench who are ready to stop the president's agenda, that there are deep state rhino hacks within the conservative side who are ready to assist the Democrat deep state with their agenda. And the last picture of that puzzle, of course, is represented by none other than Nicole Wallace herself. The media, the propaganda wing of the deep state. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be here all week. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Donald Trump tells South Carolina Republicans, you can do it. Be bold and courageous. And don't you worry about James Clyburn. What? Next. All right, so since I was gabbing about Texas bullion exchange, so they're going to come here and they're going to shoot some video here in the studio of me being fabulous, and then we're going to go home and we're going to talk about, whatever, as me doing stuff at home, just as a normal person who uses their products. And I will tell you, when my friend Ryan from Texas Bullion Exchange called me, and he's like, would you? I said, yes. He didn't even have to ask. Yes. What do you need? What do you need? Absolutely. I believe in you. I will stand next to you. Absolutely. You can put my likeness on you for sure. I will not talk to you about a company that I do not use or would not use, period. There's no money in the world worth it to me, ever. Ever. So wendylovesgold.com, wendylovesgold.com. What I like about Texas Bullion Exchange, and you get there by going to wendylovesgold.com, 855-927-5557. That's our direct line to them. What I like about them is they're so easy to talk to, and they enjoy sharing with you their knowledge about gold and about precious metals and about investing and about how it's changed over time and how America left the gold standard and what that did, et cetera, et cetera. In a short period of time, you can be like, I got it. Now I understand why so many people pull out of all stock market and make sure they get some in precious metals. Call our friends. Ask about the Principal Protection Program, PPP. Ask about the 6% in free silver that you can get if you get a specific portfolio from them. They're wonderful. You're going to love them. Tell them I said hi, please. 855-927-5557, wendylovesgold.com. Anyway, I don't normally spend 9 minutes, 10 minutes talking about 1 minute of audio, but I heard it a very specific way.
I heard the same way.
Did you hear it the same way?
Yeah,
See, I can glaze.
It was the one word, the Legion.
That's why I was like, Legion. It's curious. It's like insurrection. It's like one of those words where you're like, insurrection. Really? It's like gravitas. Remember when they were like, he's got some gravitas? Everybody started saying the same word. And you're like, why are you all saying the same word? Ooh, Ashley from Tulip Blooms is texting me presently. Hi, Ash. Rainfall. Ooh. What?
Did your son come in?
No, rainfall push continues with a buy one, get one 50% off special on the rainfall collection. Do not get caught this summer without your rainfall. Your skin will thank you. I'm going to have to log into that. We'll talk about that next commercial break. Rainfall. I don't have rainfall. I should send back rainfall. How can I talk about something I don't have lots of? Brock wants one too. All right. Be bold. Be bold. Be bold and courageous.
How about just do the right thing?
Yes. I don't know if I can do this without. No. Oh my gosh. Did you guys ever have the game Perfection when you were growing up? Anybody? You know, Republicans generally are not the kind of people who come up and knock on your door. They're generally not people who stand on street corners, crowds on demand, holding up a sign, whatever the sign might be. We don't normally do that. I don't know why, but I think most conservatives are busy. We're working. We're doing stuff. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program, by the way. And if anything, we could be called not lazy, but perhaps disconnected. Perhaps we don't pay attention and get in people's faces as we should, but that's just not the vibe I get. Conservatives in general believe in limited government, limited intervention. They trust you to do right by you and not the government to tell you what's right by you. And so we've gotten our butts handed to us with a lot of schemes. And we've had John Thune-style gentlemanly statesmen who aren't ruthless, who don't say what needs to be said, and who kind of pussyfoot around things and get walked on. I don't like that. I don't like a wussy man any more than I like a wussy congressperson. But that's who we had, right? So when President Trump tells South Carolina Republicans, go, be bold, be courageous, and go vote on this redistricting, he's trying to take the Acme frying pan to the face. Wonk. Wake up. This is a dirty game. It's not for people who are worried about hangnails. It's ruthless. And unless you want to be ruthless, you probably shouldn't be here, right? President Trump Monday encouraged South Carolina Republicans to be bold and courageous ahead of a vote on redistricting after Tennessee Republicans approved a new map that threatens to unseat the state's lone House Democrat. South Carolina Republicans be bold and courageous, just like the Republicans of the great state of Tennessee. Last week, move the U.S. House primaries to August. Leave the rest on the same schedule, Trump wrote in a Truth Social post. Isn't that wild? Right, he's on his way to China with a whole gaggle of tech people. Elon's with him. Facebook, Meta, all these AI companies. It's like the who's who of like Brainiac innovative, out there rich guys all going with the president to go meet with the president of China, right? He's doing that. At the same time, he's excoriating Adam Schiff and saying, dude, I got your number. It's just a matter of time. I hope your neck's getting sore. And he sends out a message to the South Carolina Republicans. Grow a pair. Do what needs to be done. Follow Tennessee. Do what needs to be done. Everything will be fine, he writes. Get it done. State lawmakers in the South Carolina House are scheduled to discuss redistricting today. Discuss. No. See, the time for discussion was like every single moment before this. This isn't the time to discuss. This is the time to do what the high court has said, to fix what has been wronged, and to finally freaking get it right. And, oh, by the way, make sure that the Democrats never get control of the House, at least not for my next, 20 years? So the measure has to clear the lower chamber if they're going to redistrict, has to clear the lower chamber, has to pass the state Senate, where lawmakers have not yet determined whether it will consider redistricting amid a ticking timetable as the regular session ends on May 14th, which tells me that's Thursday. What are you doing? What are you doing? What else do you have to do? Whatever is on your calendar, put it aside. Get it done, says the president, right? This is like John Thune with the Save America Act. Dude, what's your problem? The only reason why you're not getting this done is because you're a deep state hack or somebody's got your number. You stand there all nice and prim and proper and handsome with those beautiful blue eyes, and you sound so friendly with that kind of twang that you got going on. Oh, he's a man of the people. And then you screw us by not doing what a majority of the country wants. And it's not just the majority of conservatives. It's the majority of all of us, united, one nation, under God, indivisible. John Thune, what the hell are you doing? Trump is trying to light a fire under the South Carolina Republicans. Wake up. It's not complicated. So if South Carolina lawmakers approve new maps, the congressional primaries would be moved from June 9th to August 11th. The date coincides with the first day of school in multiple counties in the state. Figure it out. I'm sure it's not going to be that big of a deal. Nobody on the first day of school comes home and is like, wow, that was really productive. If you push it a day, I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay. If the lines are redrawn, candidates who have already begun campaigning in the current congressional districts have raised concerns with the transfer of campaign funds to back canvassing efforts already on a newly drawn map. This is the Hill writing this, so this would be a liberal perspective I want to share with you. They want to say, well, it's kind of late in the game. Is it too late? Well, why was this decision by the Supreme Court in the Louisiana versus Calais? Why was it so late? Because Ketanji Brown Jackson, Elena Kagan, and what's-her-face, Sotomayor, dragged their feet to run out the clock because that is the petty garbage that the Democrat Party does. I don't like your decision. I'm in the minority, so I'm not going to write my decision for a long time, and so I'm going to screw you and your ability to change the maps. It's like, really? You're dealing with prepubescent children on the left in the deep state. That's what you're dealing with, which is why Trump has to put on bold letters. Get it done. Get it done. Check, please. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, hour number 2, Democrats and their very expensive Virginia face plant. How embarrassing. How freaking delicious. Next. They can suck it. Uh-oh. Are we getting more aliens, Brock? So let me talk to you guys about Tulip Blooms. I'm going to bring it up. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy.
/
Did I say backsplash? Backsplash?
No.
Oh. Free me out. Okay. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. Oh, BOGO. If you buy 2 Rainfall. So I'm going to get in here. I'm going to see what Rainfall collections. Soothe. No. Skincare. Yes. So it's under skincare. Rainfall lotion. Rainfall aloe-based silk light lotions, handcrafted in small batches and infused with organic cold-pressed oils and pure essential blends. I want to drink it. I'm like, that sounds delicious. Can I get crackers with that? Each rainfall is a ritual of touch and renewal, leaving your skin luminous, hydrated, and alive with nature's quiet luxury. I love how Ashley writes. She makes everything sound sexy. I'm like, yes, I want that.
I'll take 2.
I'll take what she's having. So if you buy 2 rainfalls, you're going to get 50% off. And you're going to save 25. What? And they're throwing 25% off on top of it through the end of this week. By the way, Friday is Cousin Allison's birthday. Don't get caught in the sun without rainfall. Go to tulipblooms.shop/Wendy.
Why are you telling me that?
I don't know. So I don't forget.
To remind you?
Yeah. Tulip rainfall. Let's see. I do have rainfall at home and I used it all. That's what I used up. And then I was like, God, I got to get more. Yeah. And this stuff.
I don't know what it's like. So
this is very nice. It, if you've ever burned and you've used aloe vera gel, and you put it on your skin and it's cooling, but it's not like absorbing like lotion. It sort of just goes right on the top and you're just like, oh, soak in, baby, soothe me. That's what the rainfall lotions are like. They're very light and they have almost this very non-greasy, non-thick application. So it's unlike a lotion, but it acts like a lotion as it nourishes your skin. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. They have a trial of 3 of their versions. And then they have, wow. They've got all sorts of stuff. Aloe-based, silk light. How you doing? I like it. All right. How are you guys? What's going on? Have we hit 4,000 rumbles yet?
no.
Wow. Can we please get 270 people to hit that rumble button, a thumbs up button underneath the video box?
Your math is getting pretty good.
Huh? Really? Is that where we are? Really? It's only a matter of time before somebody comes up with my own lip gloss line. I know.
Your own what?
Lipstick lip gloss line. It's going to happen. I'm addicted to them. I don't do a lot of girly things, but that I like. Okay. Health Revolution. This is a very exciting week for us because Health Revolution they had such a great opening campaign with you when they said, look, if you've been shafted by the fake promises of Barack Obama,
everybody's been shafted.
And the Affordable Care Act, you can keep your doctor. If you like your insurance, you can keep your insurance, right? Everybody ended up paying more. You got bent over. You got worse service. I'm like, how does this help anybody? And so this is where Health Revolution comes into play. Because if you've wanted an a la carte, you make it yourself insurance plan that you manage, not the government. That's what this is. So if you want, dental or vision or all the stuff that you need, okay. If you need maternity, if you don't need maternity, right? You choose. And so people are saving 30 to 60% on their insurance. And for families, it's hundreds of dollars a month back in your pocket every month, right? And then it's you keep your doctor. You get to choose the doctors you want to see. There are no co-payments, and the premiums or the deductibles are manageable. So if you're on COBRA, if you're unemployed, if you're under the age of 65 and you're in reasonably good health, if you're 26, just got booted off your parents' health insurance and you're like, shoot, I need something, but I don't have a lot of money. This is it. info.healthrevolution.net. info.healthrevolution.net. Get in touch with them. 800-868-6187. I don't memorize most things, but I can remember my sponsor's phone numbers easily because it matters to me. I believe what he's doing. This is a great, great, great time for you to get. And there's no open enrollment. It's anytime you want. So they take all of these like ridiculous restrictions out of the way to save you 30 to 60%. Okay, 800-868-6187. Info at healthrevolution.info.healthrevolution.net. Info.healthrevolution.net. Sorry.
I never understood open enrollment. Like why you have to enroll at a specific time. And you're locked in. You can't.
It's just so they can control it more. Yeah, I think so. Yes, Arizona, A. Zoldzman. Guthrie has a new show. Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
Look, I don't wish her situation on anybody. It's terrible. I'm going to take this off because it's hanging weird.
You can also get that peace key necklace at wendybellradio.com shop.
Wordle, that's it. Some Wordle game. I've never played Wordle before, but I know people are gaga over it.
Boggle. Remember Boggle?
I love Boggle.
I was no good at it.
Shocker. But you can build a deck. Right?
No.
I can nag you about your grammar all day and be outside going, "Durr." So, who comes out on top?
I'm going to assume not me. So,
why would you say that? I would absolutely think you do. Plus, you corrected your grammar.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program. Hey, if you haven't gotten our podcast, it is so easy to take with you. Wendy Bell Radio, just plug it in wherever you get your favorite listening stuff, and you're going to love us. About 10,000 people a day download this podcast, and so we're deeply gratified by that. Thank you so much for your support and everything you do. It matters. I want to read you this article from Revolver News, fast becoming one of my favorite sites. If you ever want to check it out, revolver.news. And there's an interesting article today that goes into the sheer desperation, the panic, and the embarrassment of what the Democrat Party did with Hakeem Jeffries trying to meddle in the Virginia redistricting rules, right? And it's really quite a blistering takedown. But this is where I said to you at the beginning, too. The truth is closer than you think. I really think that we don't have a whole lot more digging to do to finally pierce the seal and get this flowing. Here's what the story says, the article says. Here's the little known part of the Virginia redistricting ruling that Democrats don't want to talk about. And we've got a couple audio sound bites in this segment. One is Jason Miyares, who's the former attorney general for the Commonwealth of Virginia. And he's like, look, before they did this shtick, where they broke all of the rules to go out there and force some bogus vote on these new districts, trampling all over an independent commission that had been voted for prior by the people of Virginia. Before they even did this, I told them, as Attorney General, don't do that. It's not going to work. That's not going to pass legal muster. You're going to look stupid. And they did it anyway. And so you're going to hear from him coming up. You're also going to hear from Ari Fleischer, who's a former White House press secretary, if I'm not mistaken, to President George Bush. And he talks about, hey, Republicans have lived with this Democrat fixing of the congressional districts for years. And now it's like, no more. We're not going to do this anymore. And Democrats are losing their minds. Dems just took a very expensive face plant in Virginia, the article says. And I agree. The story most people will hear is this. The Virginia Supreme Court just struck down a Democrat-backed redistricting referendum, which means Virginia keeps its current congressional map and Republicans hold on to their 5 districts. That right there is a giant win. It's a giant win. But the juicier part is what happened behind the scenes. So Democrats spent this massive fortune trying to ram this unconstitutional mess through. And if you think about it, $100 million or something, right? This is why when Democrats are in charge of America's finances, they spend money like drunken sailors. And no offense to drunken sailors, because I don't mean to equate you with each other. But this is why you go so deeply in debt, things get out of control. You have supply chain problems, prices that you can't afford. This is why they are abjectly horrendous money managers. And their priorities are to cheat so they actually don't have to have good ideas, good candidates in the open marketplace of ideas, right? So Democrats spent this massive fortune trying to ram this unconstitutional mess in Virginia through. They poured so much political capital into it. They celebrated. They hoped it would allow them to steal back several House seats. And then reality came knocking, courtesy of the state Supreme Court. They took one look at what the Democrats had done and basically said, nope. That's the part that makes this ruling so brutal. This wasn't just a legal ass whooping. It was a very costly and embarrassing reminder that Democrats love precious democracy right up until the process gets in the way of their obsession with power. Did you hear that? Democrats love democracy right up until the process gets in the way of their obsession with power. Yes. And this time, after all of the money and all of the muscle and the chest thumping, they got stuffed into a locker by the Supreme Court of Virginia, which means the current map stays in place and Dems don't get the cheap power grab they were counting on, which is gigundous. So we've got all of these various people in media celebrating this or at least reporting on this. This is the story, though. They lost so big after pouring so much money and credibility into a referendum that was supposed to rig the playing field for them. Follow the rules. They're not following the rules. Democrats, there's not a rule they do follow. And just like that, the big, expensive plan crumbled. Now, I want you to hear Jason Miyares, former Virginia Attorney General. What a stunning, stunning defeat for the Democrats, who now want to entirely replace the Supreme Court bench in the Commonwealth, because that's not an admission that you suck. Listen.
This was a utter, complete humiliation for Hakeem Jeffries and Virginia Democrats. They just burned $70 million, $10 million of taxpayer money, $70 million in campaign funds. And listen, if they had just paid attention to the Attorney General's opinion I issued last fall saying this is completely unconstitutional under the Virginia Constitution. And so, no, the Supreme Court, this is nothing but window dressing for them to try to save face with their donors. This is going to get laughed out by the Supreme Court. This is a last desperate gasp. But now what they're trying to do, as you reported, you have this scheme where they essentially want to unconstitutionally remove justices in Virginia. The Constitution of Virginia says you can only remove justices by impeachment in Virginia. In this case, by arbitrarily lowering the retirement age. It is an unconscionable scheme. It shows how little on the rule of law that they've been paying attention to just to pursue power.
It's not even that they're paying attention to the rule of law. They don't care. They've gotten away with everything they've ever wanted. There is a two-tiered system of justice in this country, and if you don't realize that, it's time for you to awaken. So just like that, their big, expensive plan in Virginia crumbled. It comes at a time when Republicans are finally starting to understand the redistricting game. Bing, 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 100%. Dems have been playing hardball for years, and now they don't know what to do. Now the Republicans are fighting back. Virginia just became a major piece of that story. But the new redistricting news is all over the map. Tennessee just released a new 2026 congressional map that removes the state's last remaining Democrat seat, which had been tied to race-based district arguments. So you look at it, look how much you can win when your people, Republicans, wake up and do their jobs. Here's Ari Fleischer talking about, Republicans have been taking it on the chin for a hell of a lot of years, and now they're dishing it out. Democrats don't know what to do about that.
Complicated, nor should there be anything controversial about this. But the bigger issue here, too, is Republicans for decades lived with federal Supreme Court rulings that they didn't like. Roe v. Wade, the Warren Court, measures on crime that made it easier to protect criminals than to protect victims of crime. And Republicans didn't say we need to jerry-rig the Supreme Court. They didn't go out and say we need to expand or pack the Supreme Court. They worked within the system to change the way things worked. That's what you have to do here. The Democrats, in their now attempt to erase the existence of a Virginia Supreme Court, show that they refuse to work within the system.
Yeah.
Republicans proved we will listen to a court ruling. Democrats are showing they won't.
100%. 100%. Everything the Democrats accuse this administration of doing, or more broadly, they accuse extreme MAGA Republicans of doing, they've already been doing. They've done. And they've probably done for years. That's how they roll, right? So look how much our state can win when Republicans actually do their jobs. This redistricting war is now national, and Republicans are in it to win it. Except, of course, where did I just say? South Carolina, where they're wringing their hands. Republicans in South Carolina. I don't know. What should we do, Sheila? I think you should probably freaking redistrict. It's not complicated. So let's dominate Republicans. Where are we dominating? Florida, Missouri, North Carolina, Ohio, and Texas. You add all of those together, that's, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13 plus 13 right there. You add in Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Virginia was just changed back. And so what do we have? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, another 9. This is the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about numbers. So for every politician who's like, I believe in you, I care about you, the one person I actually believe that from is President Trump. As dumb as that sounds. You're like, oh, what a sycophant. Oh, what a jock-sniffing woman she is. No. He listens to people. This president listens to people. And you're going to hear that coming up in subsequent segments. Did you hear what this president did yesterday in the Oval Office for moms and dads expectant, wanting to be parents who can't conceive, right? While Hakeem Jeffries is just starving to hold that speaker's gavel, Donald Trump wants you or your children to have babies. And he wants to help them do it. Isn't that amazing? As he's now flying over to China to meet with President Xi. And he's fixing a war and another war with Russia. And he's bringing in tariffs. And he closed a border. And he's deporting all these people. And he blew up education. Other than that, I got nothing. Dude's not doing anything. He's got no plan. Quick time out. We're back right after this on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Whew. I love Republicans are finally starting to understand the redistricting game. Bill Maher is interesting too. I mean, he's one of those people I kind of take with a grain of salt, sort of like Harry Enton, right? Like, I don't want to only like Harry when he talks about things that I care about, but it's very interesting to watch Harry talk about things reflexively in the news. It's like if Donald Trump is doing too well or the Republicans are doing a little too well, in comes Harry at his big board to deliver some terrible news that Trump is swimming with the fishes, that nobody likes him and Gen Z voters think he's a turd, right? And then you're like, and then the next day or 2 days later, it's like, oh my God, MAGA Republicans love what he's doing. And you're like, well, which one is it? Which one is it? That's Bill Maher to me. He's kind of like fickle that way, which drives me nutty. He must be very small. He must be like Greg Gutfeld small. Because his hands, I mean, certainly he's sitting next to the giant, John Fetterman. But yeah, he looks diminutive. And we're going to hear from him coming up. I want to tell you guys about the healthy fat. It is what I drink. And I'm going to go with the things that I do every day. I take Healthy Cell. I do a focus and recall in the morning, and I take it at night. I take REM sleep before I go to bed. I'm just going to tell you, I get 5 hours of sleep a night, maybe 6. Weeknights, maybe 6. That's not enough sleep. I never feel tired. I never feel like I don't get enough. I never feel like I'm needy of that, right? So I've done that. We've done all these other things as supplements. The healthy fat, I think Dr. Gundry's drink has made a real difference in my eating habits. And I think that helps me maintain weight more easily. I'm not starving as I'm sitting here talking to you because in this, whatever, Hydro Flask is this, which is a dietary supplement, which absolutely crushes your appetite. But it does more than that. Dr. Gundry, who developed this so he himself could lose between 70 and 80 pounds, he talks about this mechanism in your body that gets unleashed because of the ingredients of the healthy fat. And it's like this, and the switch gets flipped, and all of a sudden these calories that your body was holding on to, they get tossed. Your hunger goes away. All the food noise, I need Pringles, goes away. And you're able to do your job, do whatever you're doing without being starving and distracted. And then you skip a meal. I don't know. If you're eating less, what are you going to do? Lose weight? Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Every single day with my collagen. How you doing? All right. So we got a little Bill Maher coming up. Whatever. What's John Fetterman going to do, Brock? What do you think? Is he going to get 2,000 rumbles? Because we can't.
I don't know. I think he's going to try to run as a. Here's my thing. If he gets primaried, if he wants to stay, he runs in the Democrat primary because of the machine. If they get him out, he then runs as an independent in the general. He can't run as a Republican because anyone that would run against him would beat him. Like, you like him because he's at least
authentic.
But it's not like you're going to go, oh, well, I'm going to vote for him against.
I got to have those open air drug dens.
But if I'm going to have a Democrat, I'd rather have that Democrat.
I think he's reasonable. I think he's somebody that, you know what he is? I think he's negotiable. It's not like this way or no way. He's like, as it should be. I think you should.
He's back to what he was as the mayor of Braddock. Common sense.
Attention to certain people out there. John Fetterman has been an interesting act to follow. You know, I think my tune on John Fetterman changed, not because he all of a sudden started speaking like or voting like a Republican, but because I think he's authentic. You know, I like people who fight for what they believe in, whether or not I agree with them. If you're convicted, if you care, if you're consistent, I got your back. I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to vote for you, but I can respect you. How many people do you respect in Congress? How many people do you look at and say, you know what, that is a man or a woman of principle. That is someone who is unwaveringly consistent. And I consistently don't like them, but they're predictable. I understand them. Much better than someone who's just being led into the cattle chute to slaughter to vote one certain way because Nancy Pelosi said so, right? Well, I want you to hear this exchange between Bill Maher and John Fetterman, 2 audio clips. I think they're kind of interesting because John Fetterman finds himself kind of on this weird island, and the Democrat Party has put him there because he wasn't 100% exactly what they wanted. 7% of the time he voted against the Democratic Party and voted for things that were important to John freaking Fetterman. I like him. And I feel for him because he's kind of an orphan. So he and Bill Maher are talking last night. And Bill Maher himself has gone from a rabid Trump hater to a guy who realizes the real truth lies somewhere in the middle. And John Fetterman says to Bill Maher, look, I vote for things that I think are important for America. And the left hates me, but the right likes me. And I really don't get it. I want you to hear he's almost mystified. Listen.
I never voted for the big, beautiful bill and those things. I've never voted for these kind of signature things that I think it isn't the right thing for the country. But I absolutely support the things that they've done.
Well, I think you vote with the Democrats 93% of the time. I mean, it's hysterical to me that the Democratic Party, which you vote with 93% of the time, because I feel like I get the same from the same kind of people. I'm so glad that there's a number to put with it, because even when you're 93% with them, their attitude is so bad. They have such a bad attitude of you either have the one true opinion, which we, the geniuses of the far left, know, or you're just somebody at least suspect.
In a state that 52% agreed Trump should be president, and, the guy that represents them, 93% time. And if, I know you're not a believer in marriage, but if you married to someone and you agree 93% of the time, that'd probably be a great marriage. And I'm mystified by it. And what's also on the other side, I've had Republican friends, in office say, they're like, our internals, you're more popular with our people than we are. How? And I don't understand that either. When I vote 93% like a Dem line, and I'm more popular with Republicans, I can't explain it. I truly don't, and I find myself in a strange place.
I don't want to sound hokey, but we like people who stand up for what they believe in. Who are passionate, who aren't pawns, who aren't malleable, mushy, formable objects. Period. And then Fetterman calls out the Democrat freak out of the day, whatever it is that Donald Trump does that day. They freak out over it. And he's like, look, America's tired of this. I agree.
We did the move in Venezuela, which that one you have to say worked pretty good.
Yeah, well, remember, people lost their over Venezuela.
Yeah.
No one talks about Venezuela anymore. And that's my point.
No.
People also, I'm sorry, let me say this, that, we're not talking about Gaza anymore. And people forgot, we, ended the Gaza war, brought everyone back home as well, too. And this idea that what is the freak out of the day? We're not talking about these things. We've all moved on. And I guarantee by the time this drops, there will be one or two more that, part of this conversation.
Well, yeah.
This is what I like about John Fetterman. He's not into the optics. He doesn't care if you think that him wearing a Carhartt hoodie on the Senate floor is unprofessional. It's comfortable for him, and he's a giant, and he has a hard time finding clothes that fit. And he's like, screw it. This is what we're going to do. And the Democrats made it happen. And we scoffed at it, and I mocked him. And then I started paying attention to him. And I was like, maybe what the Democrats did unknowingly was find the one guy out there who actually does care. He might be a bleeding heart liberal, and I'm not. But I sure as hell appreciate somebody who's willing to fight for what they believe in. Even if what they fight for what they believe in means they take on their entire party every now and again. That's respectable. That's authentic. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, we're going to drudge up something that we brought you 5 years ago because it's about to come out again. Oh, 2020, that safe and secure election? Yeah. No. Next. I don't want to read it too often because I don't want to water down the meaning of my friend's. It's unsolicited testimonial to Dr. Simkovich and the Simkovich Concussion Institute. I did not ask her to do this, but we were super hopeful that her essential tremor that she had had for decades would be something that maybe Dr. Simkovich with the magic that he does with people who have concussions, traumatic brain injuries, suffer from chronic headaches, et cetera, that maybe there's some magic he could do to our friend Diane. And she was so overjoyed by the results that she wrote, like I said, without me asking for it, she wrote this beautiful testimonial. And she said, you know, I've had hand tremors for more than 30 years. After growing used to it, these last few years have become increasingly challenging. Out of kindness and impatience, people would offer to take over whatever task they saw me attempting, not knowing what else to do. In public, I would sit on my hands. I'd ask for a bottle of beer instead of pouring it into a glass, anything to avoid the attention, right? Then one day, a friend of mine sitting across from me simply reached over and poured my drink from bottle to glass, no mention, just a gesture. About a month later, that friend offered to connect me with Dr. Simkovich, and for 5 years, I had her speak. I've heard her speak of him, but I'd never thought it would apply to me. After trying medication with no results, I didn't believe there was any help left. She got the ball rolling, and before I knew it, I was meeting with Dr. Simkovich for a consultation. He believed he could help me. On the first day of my 4-day treatment, I felt the weight of the tremors released into calmness. I walked out of there that day with a completely different feeling. No joke. I hopped. After completing the treatment, I've experienced a 75 to 80% improvement. And my hope is that my story helps others recognize that there is hope. I truly enjoyed getting to know Dr. Simkovich, his staff, and even the friends I met in the waiting room along the way. He is the real deal, and I am grateful forever. Dr. Charles Simkovich, the Simkovich Concussion Institute, 412-366-3700. 412-366-3700. What do you have to lose? We have everything to gain. That's sort of like Donald Trump right now with everybody. What do you have to lose? What are you losing with me? What are you losing with me? Right? Simkovich Concussion Institute. Is this day got going fast? It's going to go slowly if you guys, finally, we had 2,000 rumbles. Like, oh my God. You guys are making me hump it today. Holy mackerel. 4,500. We're not knocking it out of the park view-wise either, but maybe people have other things to do than pay attention to me. I don't know what, but I hate trying to get into the New York freaking Times. Did I?
I thought you have a subscription.
I do. And then it was giving me do you want to update your subscription? And I didn't have my glasses on. So I was like, what? All right, let's see how many comments we have. I want to see what you guys said. 194. Let's get recent. Newest. Fetterman would look good at a Wendy Bell in a Wendy Bell Radio hoodie. I don't think we make them that big. Show is the best, says S. Yancey Rumble. Thank you. I've gotten 6 hours my whole life and usually feel great every morning. Maybe the healthy fat would help me work even better. Ralph, I'm telling you, I love it. I love it. But this, that's just another dimension. I'm just going to say. Wow. Sarah, thank you for your story. Able to beat stage 3 breast cancer with locally made herbal medicine. You know what? I believe in all of that. Dr. Nell, then she put somebody out there. She put somebody's name and number out there. Okay. Hey, I'm all about whatever works, whatever you think works. Wendy and Brock make my day. Well, that makes me happy. Thanks, Margie. Great to be with you guys. I still have a moment to tell you guys about Ghost Bed. I'm telling you what, you guys, this is the time to get in. Memorial Day sale. So their lowest prices of the year, plus an additional discount for us under the promo code Wendy. But I think maybe, let me see here. I'm going to get back into this. There we go. I never want to fudge up their promo because it's usually specific. Let's see. Ooh, we do have a Cozy Earth too this week. I'll do that tomorrow. You know, if you think mattresses are places where you, I don't know, throw stuff, That'd be my son, Jack. And not where you go to actually get back to basics and like engineer your life back into a positive energy. That's exactly what happens at night. You need to regroup. Your muscles need to relax. You need to get all the stress off of your joints. And if you're sleeping on an old lumpy mattress and it's been 10 years since you've gotten a new one, please go to ghostbed.com/Wendy. Try their mattresses. 101 night sleep night trial. Try it. If you sleep hot, if you toss and turn, if you wake up sore, if you're grumpy, you won't be with a ghost bed. And because the guy, I told you this, the guy who made it years and years and years ago had all sorts of surgeries on his back and his neck, and he could not get comfortable. So he invented a mattress so he could sleep. You want an expert in pain. He wants yours to go away. Ghostbed.com. Use the promo code Wendy. Extra 10% off. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, sometimes I forget how state-of-the-art, cutting-edge breaking news we were back in the day. It was literally Brock and me in the basement of my house on Facebook. That's how it started. And we just talked. And we talked, and I dug into stuff. It was during COVID. And we exposed a bunch of garbage that the CDC was doing. We started asking questions, and we started getting pushback. I started getting pushback. My accounts got hijacked, co-opted. I've never been able to get them back. I was permanently banned on multiple platforms. And the reason that the companies told me I was being punished was because I was spreading dangerous information. I was encouraging people, they said, to drink bleach, which is the dumbest thing in the world. Of course, I would never say that. But what we were doing 5 years ago was getting real close to the truth. In fact, I think we knew the truth. I think we all knew what was going on. And we talked about it every single day, and it was refreshing. People came to this program. We had Matt DePerno on. Matt DePerno from Antrim County, Michigan, who ran, I believe, to be the AG of the state, and because he was a whistleblower. He was a whistleblower who was in the central nervous system of the tabulators and all of the things that had to switch and access from foreign countries. They had some high-level access to these tabulators in Antrim County, Michigan, one of many places where things just didn't add up during the safest, most secure election ever. And they went after him with knives. His office, I think it was firebombed or was ransacked, broken into, all sorts of stuff. They looked for stuff. Why, if there's nothing to hide, does the deep state get so angry when you fly around the center of the truth? Well, Democrats had hoped they'd browbeaten and badgered us enough, called us election deniers, called us purveyors of the big lie. They made it this scarlet letter where you're like, no, not me. I believe everything you say. And meanwhile, we're like, dude, why are you all fussy? Right? And we called him out. And we gave people like Matt DePerno. We gave him an audience. And he came on this program. And he shared with us some stuff. And that stuff is coming out. That stuff is going to drop. And there's going to be a changing in the history books. Again, this is what I said from the very beginning. I don't think Joe Biden would ever be held responsible for what was done. I don't think Joe Biden knew what the hell was going on. And I think that was by design. I think they pulled what they pulled in Scandal, the TV show on ABC, right? Where the wife and some guy and two other people all work in concert to rig an election so their guy gets over the finish line, and he does not know until well after he's been elected. I think that's what happened here. But I want to go back because this constitutional attorney, Matt DePerno from Antrim County, Michigan, was on the War Room 5 years ago when we snagged him and brought him on this show. And I want to resuscitate some very interesting information for you, because they can tell you that it doesn't exist. They can tell you that Matt DePerno is a liar. They can tell you that he's propaganda. They can try to shame anybody into not believing what he says. But I've attached to the rundown of today's program that you can access if you're one of our Locals members. If you go to locals.com and plug in Wendy Bell Radio, you can join us. And we print out the whole, show you every single thing that we talk about on the program, every link, Every article, every audio soundbite, every time code to the second is for you on that page. There's a very deep diving forensic audit of the machines in Antrim County, Michigan, and they are damning. And the Democrats are desperate for that information, as desperate as they are in Fulton County, Georgia, to stay under lock and key. This is an outrage. Don't try to take our ballots. Don't take our tabulators. We have Tina freaking Peters serving a prison sentence in Colorado because she had the audacity to try to copy the machine that she knew was doing things it shouldn't have. And they threw her away for it. So she couldn't tell her story anymore. So I want you to hear Matt DePerno. At this point, he's merely a constitutional attorney. He's merely a guy who paid attention in his county and was like, this is really weird. The behavior of this county is not what it's normally been during elections. We're going to snip into it. And he says, look, we can prove that not only was our county's election management system hacked, it was hacked by someone who had high enough access privilege to change the election data. And I have proof, he says. What? This was 5 years ago. Listen.
We've proved now that there was direct access to the Antrim County election management system because we show on November 5th, we can see it in the forensic images, that an anonymous user logged onto the EMS remotely with escalated privileges and made changes to the database when they were trying to retabulate the election. So that's one huge, huge development. Because now we prove that the machines were remotely accessed, and more importantly, they were remotely accessed by an anonymous user who had elevated privileges in the system. That is pretty damning for the non-forensic reviewers out there, or people who do not want a forensic audit.
Matt DePerno got death threats after he appeared on the War Room and said that. He got death threats. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We can prove it. Somebody from out of this area accessed our machines and changed the data. Patrick Byrne, who we've had on this program a couple times, he responded to that video and said this, I reveal more. The user who remotely logged into the Antrim County election system on November 5th, 2020, that was election day, was sitting in Dominion's Serbian office, but his CEO was testifying to legislatures. Our technology is 100% USA, and our systems are air-gapped, so not even we can access them. I remember Dominion CEO testifying before a Congressional Oversight Committee. And they all said that. Nobody can get into our machines. No, it can't happen. And then when it did happen and people started talking about it, remember how Dominion sued everybody and his brother? Fox settled for something outrageous, like $787 million. That was intended to have a chilling effect on every single other person, which it did. Matt DePerno continued, again, 5 years ago. This is what we've known. This is what is coming. This changes the World Book Encyclopedia. It says now next to Joe Biden's name when all of this comes out, never elected, never wanted, never trusted, disgraced. That's what I predict. Matt DePerno says, and they tampered with Republican ballots to create a rejection rate to give them an advantage in 2020. Listen.
And the other thing probably is equally explosive. Everyone's seen ballots before, like these ballots here. On the side of the ballot, there's these black boxes. There's 59 black boxes on the side of the ballot. We now see within the forensic images that in Antrim County, those blocks 15, 18, 28, 41, and 44, were all intentionally modified. The height and the width, the shape of those blocks were intentionally modified in order to generate errors. What does an error do? In this case, by modifying those specific blocks, they were able to cause rejections for Republican ballots. Meaning if you voted for Donald Trump and then put your ballot in the machine, your ballot was rejected at a rate of 20% more than Joe Biden ballots.
Win unless they cheat, guys. Democrats can't win. They know they can't win. They have no ideas. They have no charisma. They created Barack Obama to be the new shiny metal object. How'd that work out for them? Nobody trusts them. We don't trust them with humanity at the border. I don't trust them with our money. They're the worst money managers ever, which is why your taxes keep going up, which is why Bidenflation sucks so much, which is why we waited for gas. I haven't done that since the 1970s, for heaven's sakes. How do Democrats win? They change the rules to benefit themselves. They create purposeful changes on Republican ballots to force tabulator rejection. They infiltrate election systems from foreign countries, including Venezuela. Why do you think we went after Nicolas Maduro? He's a dirtbag, yes, but he's got so much information and he's chirping. What else do? You lie about stopping the count and resuming it later. It's the water main break. Oh my God, everybody out. It's going to be a torrential, right? Then they bring in millions of people from other countries who want to kill us, a lot of them, to vote Democrat, of course. Then they pay homeless people to vote. They create a nursing home operation where all residents, knowledgeable or not, and I'm going to go with most of them don't know it, vote for their candidates. They get 16 and 17-year-olds. Get out there to vote. I mean, it's illegal right now, but nobody's watching. They use COVID and fear campaigns to force you to stay home so they can flood the system with fake mail-in ballots, right? They drop off fake ballots to make up the shortfall. They have more ballots received than there were ballots sent. And they vilify any report that exposes that. Think Carrie Lake. Think Matt DePerno. Right? They create a smokescreen story to divert attention from their theft. It's an insurrection, right? They imprison anyone, Tina Peters, who tries to expose their corruption. Then they sue for hundreds of millions of dollars anybody who dares to discuss their alleged criminality to create a silencing effect across other truth seekers. They use the media to badger and delegitimize anybody who dares to ask questions. They put their incapable new leader in the closet. They run a shadow government through an auto pen, and then they try to kill their opponent. Other than that, I've got nothing. I wanted you to hear that because we've known for 5 years. I've been telling you the truth for 5 years. We've had all the people on this program, and they've done everything to stop us. Like they did everything to stop Carrie Lake, by the way, who just was appointed ambassador to Jamaica. That sucks, doesn't it? Jamaica. She's probably drinking a Mai Tai right now. God bless her. Right? This is what they do. But there are those of us out there who will not be silenced, who will not shut down, who will not shut up, who will not walk away, who will not be threatened. And they've stopped at nothing to destroy us. And they will lose. And they know it. Which is why John Brennan had to tell No Lip what's her name? Nicole Wallace. We have operatives still in the DOJ. They're running interference for us. That should scare the living bejeebers out of you. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, it's almost like I had something to say there. So wait a minute. The deep state not only lied about the laptop, they covered up Hunter Biden's affinity for foreign hookers. I mean, because that's against the law, right? Yeah. Next. Can I go pate?
Yes.
Okay, it's a mate pate. Sorry. Oh.
Man, it's fast news coming out today. Apparently, Marty McCary is resigning. I wonder why. HHS, I've really liked him. We're not talking about it today because I haven't really seen it anywhere other than on Twitter. But did you guys see the former staffer suing Thomas Massey for being a sexual deviant? I mean, let's be honest. If you're consenting adults, what's deviant about it? I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I think it's funny that this comes out, and the reason I think I'm skeptical of it is it comes out. What are they voting in Kentucky next week? I think it's next week, the 19th or 20th. It comes out a week prior. So it makes me a little skeptical when I saw it this morning of why now.
Ugh.
Feel better?
You could tell I was fussy this morning. All that I wrote down, just I didn't want to forget any of it. It's almost like Michael's got some stuff to clip today, Brock.
Well, if he's awake.
Oh, please. I think kids realize at like 24, they're like, I can't sleep like I used to. I can't sleep all day. And I'm like, wait till you can't sleep all night. All right. More Gains Fitness, Kelly Morgan and More Gains Fitness. I'm just going to hold up a picture that says everything about it. Look at this guy. Look at the before on the left and the after on the right. Look at that. That's crazy. See, that's not just losing fat. That's trying to firm up your skin. That's developing muscles. That's like, that's bonkers. And Kelly has a great program, whether you have a lot of weight to lose, or maybe you want to lose 10 pounds and you want to firm up your rump and your abs for the beach or what have you. She's got the program, More Gains Fitness, MORGAINZ fitness.com. 90 days. You do it at home. You do it via the computer, following their videos. She tells you what you shouldn't eat, how you should do it. You show up every day and you do it. 90 days later, she measures you and you get your results. And the results are you lose weight, you lose inches, and you lose fat. And you gain power, strength, and confidence. That's it. MoreGainsFitness.com. That's everything, right? 90 days. You can do it. Oh, my goodness.
Marty McCary's resigning.
Is he?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
That's what I was saying. I don't know.
He just became head of the FDA, didn't he?
CDC? I don't think so.
CDC? What is he?
FDA?
I know, it's really shocking. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. It's super shocking. All those people who told you that it was a Russian plant. No. That laptop's not real. 51 former intelligence officers told us that. It's got all the earmarkings of classic Russian interference. Or it was just Hunter being a scumbag, doing a lot of drugs and getting a lot of money from foreign governments for the Biden crime family syndicate, and also bringing in hookers from all over the place and banging them. So there's that. Okay. And that second part, that last part that I just said, well, it seems like that's a little actionable. Sounds like that's illegal. You can't do that. Well, that's true. I got this article, justthenews.com. Senators release records on potential Hunter Biden prostitution crimes kept from them by the Biden DOJ. Is it like the Biden DOJ, those legion of operators that are still working there to run cover for the deep state and to make sure that Donald Trump's agenda doesn't get affected, doesn't get effectuated, I should say, doesn't happen, doesn't go into play? Yeah, it kind of sounds like that. Let's listen to this. This is curious. You can't insulate Hunter Biden all of his life, right? Is the guy allowed to always be a screw up? And it sucks that sometimes I feel sorry for the guy. I don't want to feel sorry for him, but I do. I do. 2 Senate committees have obtained records from the Justice Department that show the government possessed evidence of potential prostitution-related crimes related to former first son Hunter Biden. Why do we know about that? Because if this was Donald Trump Jr., it would be like, Fox breaking news alert. Everybody and his brother would be like, breaking news. Donald Trump Jr., did you hear what he did? And they're like, what? Who's Hunter Biden? I don't know who that is. Is he painting? He's painting somewhere with Kevin Morris, his sugar daddy. Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley and Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations Chairman, that's a mouthful, Ron Johnson, had requested the records from the Justice Department in 2022, pursuant to their investigation into alleged corrupt acts and conflicts of interest by the members of the Biden family. Those requests were not answered at the time. Brock, what's the difference between 2022 and now? What is that? What is that? How many years is that?
That would be 4.
4 years. 4 years. 4 years. Republican senators say the records, which include text messages between Hunter Biden and the women, show that the government had significant evidence of potential Mann Act violations. Odd that it would be named that, M-A-N-N, however. Mann Act violations, allegedly committed by Hunter Biden from as early as October of 2020. No, we just thought they were really good friends. That's all. For example, the messages show that Biden, whose father was former President Joe Biden, appeared to have purchased a flight from Los Angeles to an unknown destination from an unidentified woman in 2018. He kind of had a lot of money. Hunter did. Burisma paid off. In their September 2020 report on Hunter Biden's business interests in Ukraine while his father was vice president, the senators pointed to evidence that the younger Biden had paid women who were citizens of Ukraine and Russia. Some of those transactions were allegedly linked to what appears to be an Eastern European prostitution or human trafficking ring. Fan-freaking-tastic. The Mann Act, what is the Mann Act? Prohibits the transfer of individuals across state lines for prostitution or for any other immoral purpose. They knew. I mean, they know who's baggy of whatever the hell that is. Right? You mean to tell me, one more time, back to the opening dialogue, we can go to the dark side of the moon, but we can't fingerprint a freaking baggie of drugs in the White House? Like, it's such a mystery. We don't know what to do. It's somewhere. Technology is somewhere with Nancy Guthrie. I mean, honest to God. And those of us who are like, oh, this is just not going to end well. This is going to be a dirty chapter of American history. They were like, that's so rude, you haters. Well, come on now. The IRS investigators who were probing Hunter Biden's tax violations also said that they found evidence of potential Mann Act violations, just the news reported. One of the investigators who later blew the whistle to Congress about alleged favoritism shown to Biden. But favoritism? What are you talking about? There aren't no 2 tiers of justice. There ain't no for one group and not another group. 4 years, you guys. 4 years. And these are the people who want you to trust them. How is that any different than Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson stonewalling for 7 months, slow walking their descent to that Louisiana versus Calais judgment in which they were the minority in the dissent? Why else would you do that? Because you cannot win unless you're petty. You cannot win unless you break the rules. You cannot win unless you rig the system, unless you fiddle with the ballots so that they're rejected when they come from Republican voters, so that you do that the 3 a.m. ballot drop, 3 weeks after the election is over. But, well, we just found these in a storage unit. Let's make sure we get these counted right away, people. Right? It takes me back to John Fetterman, because I'd have to ask him, why would you want to be a Democrat? Like, what does the Democrat Party do that you agree with? When we come back, hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program, the Democrat Spencer Pratt problem is getting worse. Oh no, Code Red next. Four years. How do you not freaking respond? How do you not respond for 4 years? Oh, yeah, we knew that vaccine really wasn't a vaccine. It was an elixir to scramble your genes and kill a bunch of people. Well, that would have been good to know 4 years ago. Well, we thought it was a need to know thing, and you didn't need to know. Really? 1-800-NEW-ROOF. IrelandContracting.com. I've got to get back to Gary today. I need to make a note of that. If you are in southwestern Pennsylvania, go to IrelandContracting.com and take a look at some of their pictures. You know, the bummer about needing a new roof is when you need nobody looks at their roof and they're like, you know what, honey, we don't need one. But wouldn't it look so much better if, like, who would do that? Nobody's swimming flush with cash to just change on a whim. It's usually because you have to, right? It's like, oh, snap, we've got leaks everywhere. It's kind of time, sweetie bug. Let's get it done. And it always comes at the wrong time. If you think you're near that time, if you've seen hints of water damage and you're like, yeah, or you know that your windows are atrocious and you'd like to see if you can get all of the windows in your house replaced, what kind of discount would I get if I got all of them? Well, why not have Ireland Contract come out to your house and give you an estimate? And then you know what you're in for. Then you know what you need. And then you're not caught blindsided, right? That's what I like about Ireland Contracting. At home exterior remodeling and electrical work, inside electrical work. Dan will go inside your house for sure. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. My thing has little ties and it keeps going into that little, I have a little, what do they call those little hole things? Little keyhole.
Opening?
Little keyhole. And it keeps tickling my back and it's driving me bonkers. I'm like, okay. This next segment is truly enjoyable. Not like every segment isn't enjoyable with you guys, but this is particularly fun to watch. This triggered wackadoodle. Who is she even? Lee McGowan. I don't know who she is. Let's see what Perplexity tells us about her. The Perplexity's been wrong quite a bit lately. Told me today that Nancy Guthrie was 87. And I was like, what you talking about, Willis? Let's see. Lee McGowan, known online as Politics Girl, is a Canadian-born, go back, political commentator, freelance writer, and social media influencer based in Los Angeles. So what makes her anything? She launched her Political Girl YouTube channel in 2015 to explain U.S. politics.
She's toxic.
She's also a New York Times best-selling author. Who isn't now, right? Of a return to, it's like racism. Once everything's racist, nothing is. Once everybody's a New York Times best-selling author, you're like, man, whatever. She's her book is called A Return to Common Sense. Look, biatch.
Look, biatch.
I ain't got no time for you.
Well, and you guys will see it because you're watching. Watch her expressions when we put her on. It just.
She's a special slice of triggered. If crazy has a face. Uh-huh. Brock, what's going on? What are people saying? What are we doing? What's going on? Give me some data. Wow me.
I've sent you stuff.
You've sent me stuff. Okay, well, I'm obviously not reading it while I'm here. Ooh, what are we doing here? South Carolina's redrawn map has just advanced in a House
good for
subcommittee.
Xavier Becerra.
Is he dropping out?
No, he got a big endorsement.
Oh, no. Who would Gavin Newsom?
No.
Hold on.
You love this guy.
Eric
Thought he was
Swalwell.
great at his job. Mayorkas.
That would be disqualifying. That's where you would be like,
oh, wait, maybe he didn't do it. Wait, what? Oh, no, he refused to endorse him.
Oh.
People need to work on their...
Punctuation matters.
This Thomas Massey story.
I have time to tell you guys about Blood Flow 7's GLP-1 Gold. We're all about natural, using herbs and things that exist, not pharmaceutically, but naturally, to fighting things like cholesterol and blood pressure and all sorts of stuff, blood sugar. There's so many ways that we can stay healthy without taking drugs. And that's kind of one of the pushes of the show. And so we very much love our supplement business. I think the people who are behind it are wonderful people. And Blood Flow 7, you know, they offer this to, if you're overweight and you do try, and the needle's not moving, number's not moving on the scale, and you feel like no matter what you do, you're either at a plateau or it's never working. This is a very affordable opportunity for you to get that hormone GLP-1 in your brain firing again, so the signal goes to your gut, stop eating so much. Great dietary supplement that acts as the shots do without the potential side effects, uncertainty, and connection to big pharma, not injecting crap into your body. But this does talk to your brain and has it slow down. You don't want to eat so much. You're full. So the product is, you don't eat so much, right? GLP-1 Gold, it is one of the top selling things at Juvenon, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Go there, automatically 30% off everything in the store at discount at checkout. That's that good. This is a deal breaker for the scale. Complete deal breaker. You'll let go of that scale and you'll start losing weight again. This is for significant weight loss. This is for 40, 60, 80 pounds. bloodflow7.com/Wendy. GLP-1 Gold. I wonder if we sold any coasters. Then I'm going to shout somebody out.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Man alive, did the Democrats have a Spencer Pratt problem in Los Angeles, California? Welcome back to hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program. Great to be with you. Okay, so Spencer Pratt, who is this guy? Reality TV star from a while ago. He was on some MTV show called The Hills. I never saw it. I don't really care about that. I like that he's just a regular guy who feels like nobody's going to stand up and do what needs to be done. And that is to lead the city of Los Angeles, one of the most brilliant places, one of the warmest, friendliest, most wonderful places on planet Earth. I grew up not far from there. He wants to make it great again because it's been a damn long time. And he's running on that platform. Los Angelinos deserve better. What do you have to lose? Well, there's a headline right now from thehill.com. You ready for this? Spencer Pratt could upend the LA mayoral race. Oh no, what's communist Cuba sympathizer Karen Basura gonna do? What's trashy Karen gonna do if she loses her job? What's James Clyburn gonna do? What's Hakeem Jeffries gonna do? These people have no talent, they have no skill, and they've been shielded from culpability for far too long. And now, to quote the Reverend Jeremiah Wright, now the chickens have come home to roost. Mayoral elections tend to be sleepy affairs, but the contest in Los Angeles is anything but. Former reality TV star Spencer Pratt, a Republican running in this nonpartisan election, has turned what might have been a predictable race into a genuinely competitive one. His campaign ads have racked up tens of millions of views and have sparked a national conversation, injecting volatility into an otherwise conventional contest. You know, just the way the Hill wrote that. So used to just winning, so used to just being able to suck and get away with it, the Democrats are. Karen Bass hasn't run a campaign. She hasn't run the city. She ran away. She went to Ghana knowing that there was going to be a storm, knowing that the winds would be fierce. She's like, peace out of here. But I totally want another term. Nobody can be as bad as I am. Well, the Hill's even calling it out. And this is fantastic. And I love this. Trump's "what do you have to lose?" The whole idea. Spencer Pratt is basically dropping that on the entirety of Los Angeles. And he has now surged to an all-time high in the betting markets of 34%, just below Karen Bass. For a Republican to be anywhere near is pretty remarkable. So let's hear some of this stuff. I want you to hear CNN. CNN, this is where you see the malfunction of a triggered Democrat lefty whack job. And her name is Lee McGovern. If you're not familiar with her, she's the one with ponytail and the psycho eyes. And she looks like one of those like those dolls that you'd shake and the eyes would roll back in their head. Super creepy, like Fantasy Island. You remember that? So this is this is New York Post Lydia Moynihan. She's having a very sane conversation about why Spencer Pratt is appealing to people, why he's gaining traction. He's just your regular guy. He lost his house in the fire, right? He lost everything he had, and his mayor shafted him, and he feels he could do a much better job. And this chick, Lee McGowan, who's the activist lefty, goes berserko. Here you go.
I mean, his odds are going up. We'll see. This is a really uphill battle for him, but I think Republicans should be taking copious notes because you just got to embrace common sense and be normal. And he is calling out the fact that leftists in LA seem to be fine with letting people, shoot up in front of schools. They're fine with dogs getting injected with fentanyl. They're doing nothing. And he's calling out some very obvious things that the vast majority of Americans can agree on. And he's going viral because of it. People want common sense.
Is this common sense for real? Like, as an LA voter, as someone that will vote for mayor in Los Angeles, I'm telling you, this is the opposite of common sense. This is so embarrassing. I am so exhausted of being surrounded by this level of idiocy. It is not. This guy is not practical. His man's plan was to live off his reality fame. When that dwindled, he wanted to be an influencer. When that dwindled, he tried to make his wife a singer. It didn't work, so now he's going to be mayor of LA. He says he's going to end corruption. How? He says he's going to have no more homeless. How? He says he's going to have renters' rights. How? I'm so sick of having politicians come in here with zero experience telling us they're going to fix everything. Have we learned nothing?
Let me just play.
It's embarrassing.
Wow. So much for the party of love and joy and inclusion. She's just a triggered wacko who knows her chick's about to get creamed, and she's pissed about it. And I think it's freaking delicious. You can go and be embarrassed all you want, you sniveling snit. This is the sanctimonious do-goodery of idiocy of the left, right? They know better. How's he going to do it? How's he going to fix homelessness? How's he going to fix all these problems? Isn't that what Barack Obama said to President Trump, to candidate Trump? Oh, how's he going to create all these new jobs? He's going to wave a magic wand? And then Trump was like, no, in fact, we're just going to get the hell out of the way so people can be creative and do what they want to do. And it's amazing. We didn't have to fudge all the jobs data like Joe Biden did. Ouch. So Spencer Pratt's in the All In podcast. You could hear that Lee McGowan chick. She's freaking out. She's like, oh my gosh, we can't have a Republican. Can we have a Republican mayor in Los Angeles and a Republican governor of California? That would be the Democrat meltdown. They'd be like, pow. Spencer Pratt's in the All In podcast, okay? And he's talking to one of the guys. I forget who he is. These are all rich dudes, and Spencer's here. And he's like, look, my plan to clean up the streets. Lee McGowan was wondering, oh, what's his plan to clean up homelessness and crime? Well, here's Spencer Pratt in his own words saying, this is my plan. See if you like it.
You start putting handcuffs on people, watch how many people leave.
100%.
This idea that
Everyone, if you let everyone do drugs and do whatever they want and let the criminals make the outside asylum and with no guards, if you let them do that, they're going to do that. But if you, so when I'm mayor, my plan is first 3 weeks, signs up across the city, no more nakedness, no more drug use, no more robbing, no more
burning dogs in the street.
No more dog abuse.
Yeah.
On every sign, on every bar, so that, and we're going to go around, we're going to warn everybody, hey, you got 3 more weeks of this, like clock's ticking, just keep telling everyone, so the people that are aware, they're like, oh, wow, there's a new mayor in town, they may start leaving. And then when the 3 weeks, or maybe we'll even do 2 weeks, maybe people will want it faster. And then once we start enforcing the laws, boom, streets will be back. You know who else I'm going to bring in? The CDC. Because there's medieval diseases in these encampments. They're not swabbing these encampments. They're not swabbing the streets. People are just living in feces and drug use and dogs burning and body. We need these streets cleaned.
Yeah.
God, that sounds horrible. I'd totally be against that. So I'm going to take you inside. A few people get to do this, but I'm going to take you inside the planning meeting for what happened next. All right, here's how it goes. Oh my gosh. Earl! Hey, Earl! Get in here! Okay, guys, here's what we got to do. Spencer Pratt's kicking the crap out of us. This guy, this hack, we got to beat him, okay? Got to get Karen Bass across the finish line. Let's get the unions together. Okay. This is the plan. We're going to put out a union story, a hit piece on Spencer Pratt, that the unions are all galvanizing against him. And then we're going to put it out there, and it's going to be awesome. Already? Here's what it looks like. Let's go.
Republican Spencer Pratt is the last thing Los Angeles needs for mayor. Pratt opposes using taxpayer money to build brand new houses for our unhoused neighbors, saying it's time for the homeless to get help or get out. Pratt thinks LA needs thousands more police officers rather than more social workers, and Republican Spencer Pratt thinks public employee unions should have less power, not more. LA is on the right track and needs to stay the course. Vote no on Republican Spencer Pratt.
The greatest pro-Pratt ad you've ever seen. He wants more police and not social workers who only make things worse. He believes in law and order. We believe in rampant crime, open-air drug use, and sex on the streets. LA doesn't deserve Spencer Pratt. And meanwhile, everyone's sitting at home looking at each other being like, was that the Babylon Bee? What was that? Is that The Onion? Did they just get into video production? What happened? The establishment absolutely petrified of reality star turned LA mayoral candidate Spencer Pratt. The thought of somebody outside the appointed political class has all of the usual suspects panicking, especially big labor. Unions throw endless cash towards Democrat politicians. I wonder why. At every level of government to make sure they keep getting a piece of the taxpayer pie. But this, when the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor, AFL-CIO, decided to weigh in on the LA mayor's race, they probably thought their LA unions opposed to Spencer Pratt for mayor 2026 ad was going to have their desired effect of slamming him in his positions. But again, instead, I'm pretty sure it became one of the best pro-Pratt ads to date. And this is what everybody in California is watching. This is why Lee McGowan is losing her collective shizzle on CNN. How's he going to do it? What's he going to do? He's going to just do the best he can and not lie to the people and actually try to fix problems. And he's going to think outside the box, and he's going to bring in people who do the same thing, right? Yeah, I vote for that stuff. I love that. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Dr. Oz. 2 audio sound bites you have to hear. So Lee McGowan, how is he going to fix corruption? Well, we got it for you right here. It's coming up next. I got a great idea for you from Dr. Oz. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Healthy Cell. Thank God for REM sleep by Healthy Cell. Glow wrote this after the election. She had an election in her area. She says, thanks to Tuesday's election, and she's in Virginia, here in Virginia. I had a very hard time falling asleep. This is one where Abigail Spanberger won. Finally, about 1:30 a.m., I decided to take my REM sleep. I only took about half of the package, though, since it was so late at night. She didn't want to sleep too long. I'm like, I don't think it works like that. It's not like based on the quantity of it. It's this. It's this one. Right? So she was like, okay, I'm going to take this off and I'm going to just take in a little bit because I just want to fall asleep a little bit. It's not how it works. It's just a wonderful, calm, peaceful drift off to sleep. And if you get interrupted, awakened, you have to get up and go potty or what have you, you get back into bed, curl up, and especially if you're on a ghost bed, and it's lights out again. And then when you wake up, regardless of how much sleep you actually got, you're rested, you're focused, you're sharp, which is ridiculous. How? That's this. This is one of what? I'm going to read you the formulations from Healthy Cell. So you know, healthycell.com/Wendy. Healthycell.com/Wendy. Here's one for bone strength, right? I'm a small person. Osteoporosis concerns me. Bingo. Would everybody stop calling me? Stop. They have the bioactive multivitamin. Super important during cold and flu season. Love, love, love it. How about the heart and vascular health? What? Bringing down your blood pressure through a microgel? Mm-hmm. Joint health and mobility, REM sleep, daily multi plus iron and omega-3s. Focus and recall, my baby. Then they have the Discovery Kit, where it's just like you get all sorts of different ones shoved into it and you can try them and see what you like. They've got the Immune Super Boost, glucose support for your blood sugar, calm mood, eye health, telomere length. I don't even know what that is, but it has to do with DNA. And then vibrant hair, skin, and nails. Right? And you can mix and match stuff. They've got one AM, PM, the day and night bundle, focus and recall plus REM sleep. I love you. Healthycell.com/Wendy. The stuff is amazing. And it gets into your system faster than taking a pill, which you usually poop out. Sorry. I'm just going to say it as it is. Do we have 2.5 yet? Do we have 2.2 yet? That's probably the better question. Here's an honest question for you. I want your answer in the comments. Do you prefer AI or do you like when Brock used to create the thumbnails?
Should I answer in the chat?
Why would you answer in the chat? We have 224 comments. How lovely. Thank you. Thank you for that.
My message is too short.
Hey, Becky65. She goes, rumble, rumble, rumble. Get off your arse and rumble, my girl. Myron, hello from Hatfield, Pennsylvania. Beautiful day here in Montgomery County. That's awesome. Nice to see you, Myron. Thanks, babe. Hi, Maggie. Checking in a little late. Glad you're here. Texas Martin Smith. Hi, baby. Hi, little bit NC. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. How do you fix corruption? Lee McGowan, the Zero New York Times bestselling author from LA, who's apparently some social media progressive lefty on the CNN panel. She mocks Spencer Pratt for being tired of it all, for having enough. See, Matt DePerno in Antrim County, Michigan had enough. He had enough. He saw what was going on. It was unconstitutional. It was illegal. It was un-American. The theft of an election. He spoke up to try to ruin his life. See, anybody who comes in and says they have a better mousetrap or they think they'd like to have a shot at it, the left tries to devour. They disparage, they demean, they demonetize. Anything they can do to destroy you. That's so not a party of joy, a party of hope, a party of inclusion. We're all in this together. Yeah, no, we're not. Dr. Oz said something to Kayleigh McEnany on Fox the other day. I think it was yesterday. And he's talking about, like, how do you stop corruption? Lee McGowan asked of the panel on CNN. How does Spencer Pratt come in and fix that? Well, they already are. And it's by listening to the whistleblowers like Nick Shirley, who then got death threats. Funny how they want to kill people who expose them, isn't it? Dr. Oz says to Kayleigh McEnany, the staggering degree of foreign government fraud in America would make your face melt off. Listen to this.
Well, we got Russian government involvement, we believe, in Los Angeles. We got the Chinese government involved in a big fraud ring in New York. And of course, the Cuban connection that you mentioned was pointed out to me by the former mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, who pointed out that we've got twice as many durable medical equipment suppliers. They sell wheelchairs and canes, twice as many as there are McDonald's in South Florida, and the owners all seem to be Cuban, and they flee back to Cuba with the money when we come after them. So this is primarily about allowing the American people to have integrity within the healthcare system. And again, with Medicare and Medicaid, there's a handshake agreement we have, especially when we start offering services that are designed to protect you because your family is not doing them for you. I'll give you one concrete example. New York State, where you are right now, the #1 job in the entire state is not retail, it's not folks working in shops, it's personal care services. Why? It's because it's a jobs program for the state. Almost 500,000 people in that state are being paid to carry groceries upstairs for their parents or for their neighbor. Again, these are jobs your family would do for you. That creates jobs in a state that's losing jobs. That generates tax revenue, but it comes from the federal government because we pick up most of the tab. And here's the part that's really bothering me. They're starting to unionize these workers.
Unionize. Hopefully they put out all sorts of videos too, right? And then Dr. Oz continues and he says, look, if we cut out just the foreign fraud in our country, we could have this Medicare trust fund. We could extend it by twice its length, twice its lifespan. Listen.
I'm going to put it in the context everyone can get real clear on. 1 in 3 hospices in the entire country are in Los Angeles. Not in California, just L.A. Remember, hospice was designed 40 years ago to take care of people dying of cancer in their last few months of life. You're supposed to, ideally, enjoy those lives with dignity in those last few months. Instead, in California, the atrocities continue every time I go there, and I was there this past week, again, this time with DEA agents. They're trying to open up MacArthur Park, where, the Sinaloa cartels basically set up shop. By the way, we discovered 19 kilos of fentanyl. That's enough to kill 190,000 Americans. And again, this is all taking place under the nose of the current leadership of California. But the hospice fraud, it's not just about stealing money. They're stealing your life. They're taking away your health. They're stealing from our most vulnerable in ways that are so reprehensible. I would have thought that alone would have been morally compelling enough to act. And here's the deal for anyone just worried about the money part of it. If we take the fraud out of Medicare, just Medicare alone, we would double the life expectancy of the Medicare Trust Fund, which means if you're working right now and you're worried about Medicare being there for you, or if you're on Medicare now and you're worried that it might have some financial issues, we would double its life expectancy if we just took the fraud out of the system.
So as a response to Lee McGowan, who says, what's Spencer Pratt going to do about corruption? Why didn't your people do anything at all about it, Lee? You've got the Russian government involved in California fraud, Chinese government involved in New York fraud, Cuban government is ripping off Florida. And now in this development, an auditor in Ohio drops a report finding possible huge Medicaid fraud, 40% of home health care going to Franklin County, tons of money going to 2 zip codes 4 miles from each other. $4 billion reported in foreigner fraud may have just been found. So my question to someone like Lee McGowan, who wants to be embarrassed by Spencer Pratt saying somebody's going to have to dig into this stuff. What are you afraid of, Lee? And how do you get behind people who've been ripping us off for so many years? How does that not infuriate you? How does that not wake you up at night, Lee? Unless you're a card-carrying member of the progressive left, which, bing, 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 bing. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Who's Your Daddy? Donald Trump doing some amazing things for women, for families, for babies. You got to know about it next. Toxic witch. I got to blow some shizzle off here. Sorry. Uh-oh. Come on now. I'm so excited. I can blow all sorts of stuff up. Oh, I love it. They put in my new clock up here where they fixed it. And so now I can see up here the way I used to, but there's all sorts of dusty schnurgles all over the place. So just getting rid of them. Let's see. Who did I get? Did I get everybody? Nick, Pat, Healthy Fat, Simkovich, Morgan, Reaper. I want to make sure I got all my peeps. I can't be done. How you doing?
I think you got everybody.
I did. That you can go through it in your mind is nutty to me. Oh.
Today's going fast.
Is it?
You don't think?
So I put my special folder, I guess, a little too close to the coffee thing. Oh, I know.
This is why we can't have nice things.
So how are you guys? What's going on out there? Oh my God. What the hell is wrong here? It's awkward if I don't talk, isn't it? I'm kind of just staring at you. See, I can look through and I can see you. That is creepy, I know. So, I'm really excited for what's going on. I think more and more people and the Pratt ads. Did I have a Pratt ad? No. I did an attack ad. Some of the ads that people in conservative circles are putting together. This one meme team putting together all sorts of things, putting them to Batman, putting them to Star Wars, all these different iterations of Spencer Pratt ads. I love it. You know, I think that LA is hungry. LA is hungry. No, we're hungry to be treated to a leader. Let's get a leader. Let's get somebody in, and it's not Karen freaking Bass. And that she would want to stay and be inconsequential. In fact, do nothing. It would be the equivalent of Joe Biden again. Joe Biden didn't do anything. He didn't make any decisions. He didn't think outside any boxes. He didn't bring any kind of energy or thought processes that were good for America. There was nothing. It was just let's fly as long as we can under the radar and get as much money into Democrat coffers as possible in the next 4 years. That was the point. That's what they did. And Donald Trump knows all about it. He knows all about it. He knows they got it all. They got it all. Right? But we still don't know where Nancy Guthrie is. Okay. Just don't make no sense. What do you think, Brock? Was that an op?
Yes.
To cover what?
I was trying to think earlier what was really happening then. And that beginning of the year was a real push for the SAVE Act. And I don't know if it's because think of where you'd hear all that information from about the SAVE Act. The news. What was all over the news? Nancy Guthrie. So I don't know. It gave Republicans, not just Democrats, it gave Republicans cover of not being called out. It gave John Thune coverage for being a complete loser and lackey.
What an absolute zero. What a disappointing zero. And we all kind of, when Trump was like, yay, Thune, we were all like, ooh.
I mean, My
Really?
first response, and okay, I don't know. He was McConnell's wingman. Like that was reason enough for me to go negative Ghost Rider. I've sent you a bunch of stuff that would be good for tomorrow. Millions of borrowers are defaulting on their student loans. You mean the $70,000 you spent a year to get your underwater basket?
Talk about a racket.
Oh.
Talk about a racket.
How to keep people down. We'll make you smarter, but we're going to put
We'll
you
make
in
you a
such
slave to the
financial
system.
debt that you can't get ahead.
Yeah.
They didn't make me smarter. They just made me poor.
It didn't make me smarter. That just made me poorer.
Yeah. My degree to get me.
It was a Sunday morning, and I'd been up for a couple hours, and Joe was sleeping. And this was 20 odd years ago. And I crawled in bed next to my husband, and I flopped down on the mattress to wake him up. And he rolled over, and he looked at me through one eye, and he said, "Hey, what's going on?" And I said, "There's a problem." And he sat up, and he looked at me, and he said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I'm not getting pregnant. There's a problem." And he's like, "Wendy, relax. It's okay. We have 2 beautiful kids. It's only been a year. And you want to know, just give it some time." And I said, "I'm telling you, there's something that's not right." If you look at the stories and the research, and when you're a woman who wants to have a baby and cannot have one, that's all you seem to do is obsess over this. You find out that most couples conceive within 1 year. Lion's share. But there's always that 1 in 6 indiscriminate number that can't, for whatever reason. I didn't want to be one of those 1 in 6. But another year rolled by, and it was beginning to affect our marriage. Because I was angry. I told you there's a problem. "There's not a problem," he said. "We're fine." And I'm like, "It's been 2 years. And he said, "Fine, what do you want to do?" And I said, "We need to get help. I don't want 2 kids. I came from 2 kids. I want more than that. And that's not being selfish. I believe we're good parents. And I don't feel fulfilled. There's more." And so we went through a battery of tests. And the worst prognosis you could possibly get, we don't know. Right? We don't know. Inexplicable. I don't get it. His sperm were fine. My eggs were fine. They just weren't connecting. I don't get it. I don't know. But we went on a road that was really expensive. And we were young, early 30s, mid 30s, going through IVF. And we didn't do a whole lot because we couldn't afford it. It cost $10,000. And then we had Ryan. Best $10,000 I've ever spent. We still didn't get pregnant after that. And so we did it one more time, and that's how we got our twins. It's not because I've got twins in my family. It's not because I'm genetically predisposed. It's because I needed help. And I can't tell you how much it means to me. I felt fulfilled. 5 children. It is my greatest honor. Period. President Trump did something very special yesterday. And this is what's interesting about this man. All this stuff that's going on in the world, war, illegal aliens, redistricting, primaries, all this stuff. President Xi, he's flying over to see President Xi in China, right? All this stuff. He listens to Senator Katie Britt, who told him, sir, America is having a fertility problem. It's a crisis. Now, we're not talking about the COVID shot yet. That's going to be the next chapter because that's going to do, I believe, terrible damage to the fertility problem in this country, right? The president did something yesterday that was monumental. He listened. Senator Katie Britt said to him, sir, we have a problem. We need to do something. And so that's how the wheels started moving about this most favored nations clause. We're not going to pay through the nose for things like Clomid and other drugs that you get started on to try to juice your body into producing more and being more ready to get pregnant. It didn't work for me. I did all of this stuff, IUI, intrauterine insemination, all of that stuff. And it's the most defeating, awful thing in the freaking world. And you look at everybody out there who's pregnant and you're jealous and it's ugly and you feel awful. And I had 2 beautiful kids at home. What did I have to complain about? How selfish. You go through all of this. And then you go through the shots every day. Give yourself shots. And then one time I screwed up the shots. And the day I was supposed to put in the one that triggered the ultimate drop of eggs so we could go in and we could do that blessed event, I gave myself the wrong one. $10,000 down the drain. You want to feel terrible. I felt terrible. President Trump has changed that. And he's creating now opportunities for businesses to offer women, men, couples, future families, hopeful future families who desperately want a baby, the opportunity to get insurance to defray the cost, because now it's between $10,000 and $30,000 to have a baby, ladies and gentlemen, through in vitro fertilization. And he's changing that. And it's glorious. In the Oval Office yesterday, and I don't think I know he gets it, but he can't get it. He can't possibly get it, how big this is. He drops this information as these women are behind him, and they're celebrating the beginning of moms.gov, the launch of moms.gov. Everything you need to know. All of the things that you need to help pay for having children, insurance, prescriptions, all of this stuff. Let's get the government out of your way. Let's get all of this price gouging out of the way so they're not pricing women and men out of having family. And he said 2 very important things yesterday. Yesterday he said, talking about the Trump RX prescription drug discounts. And if you haven't gone to check it out, you need to, because the really expensive ones, like the fertility drugs, are a part of this Trump RX plan. It doesn't have to bankrupt you to want to have a baby.
And since we launched that website just a few months ago, it's called TrumpRx.gov. It's through the roof. Is that a correct statement, Az? And by the way, you tell them that was your idea to call it Trump. It wasn't mine.
The president did not propose that name, but everyone else thought it was a great idea. It is working spectacularly well, incredibly effective at so many things. That there's not an American around buying a medication who should not check TrumpRx.gov first. We propose, Mr. President, it's going to save us $600 billion over the next decade, the kinds of savings we're going to achieve from the most favored nation drug pricing that Secretary Kennedy organized.
So, Lee McGowan, if you're out there besmirching any conservative who dares to notice a problem and to come in with some kind of a fix or some kind of a hope or a plan or, hey, let's talk about this. Pay attention to what this administration is doing. Cutting the cost of prescription drugs by 75% is life-changing. Crickets from the media. Nothing. It's not important. It's a win for the entire country. We're not paying 90% of the world's pharmacy prices. That's what we were. I think the number was like 75%, but that's what we were. Why? It took one dude. He's going to be 80. Donald Trump. He's your daddy. How's that possible? Because he listens. He listens. In this audio soundbite, this is huge. The Department of Labor is in on this. And they're going to work with employers to create a plan that doesn't bankrupt you if you desire to go the next level. It's huge. This is a game changer.
I'm pleased to announce that the Department of Labor is issuing a new rule to formally create a fertility benefit option for employers that can be offered to all employees outside of their normal health insurance plans. It's a big deal. They were not properly taken care of. Katie Britt knows that better than anybody.
That's right, sir.
Who called me and said, I must say, I shouldn't admit this, but the first time I really heard about the fertility was through Katie. She said, sir, we have to do something. And I'm a quick study, so I learned everything there is to learn in about 3-4 minutes. And,
That's right.
And I became the father of fertility.
That is true.
No, it just made a lot of sense to me. She explained it well. And I hope you tell that story, what happened to you, that you were virtually attacked with a bad ruling from a court. They gave a very bad ruling, as you remember, in Alabama.
Yeah, but you stepped in and saved the day and made sure that we had nationwide access to IVF, and have done so much since then, and we are so grateful.
We had something passed within 2 days after
That's
that.
right.
So
That's
it was
exactly
really pretty
right.
amazing. You don't see that happen very often. But this will be supplemental option available to those who need it, much like vision or dental insurance. So we're bringing it right down into the mainstream.
And Lee McGowan, what are you going to do? We're going to do something, Lee. We're going to do something. We're not going to provide lip service. We're not going to pretend it doesn't exist. We're not going to raise money to feed our own coffers. We're not going to lie to the American people. We're not going to steal elections. We're going to run good people who stand for good things. We're going to have character, and we're going to have class, and we're going to have family values, and we're going to save our children, and we're going to save this country. Because if we don't do it, Lee, it's going to get destroyed. And blaming you isn't going to feed my fever. That's what we're going to do, by the way, because we can land on some brevity here, or some, let's just say it's calm. Do you want to know what the main baby names are for this year? This just dropped. Olivia and Liam for a 7th year and a row. 7th year in a row, top the list of names for babies born in the United States in 2025. Olivia and Liam, here are the top 10 boy names for 2025 in order. Liam, Noah, Oliver, Theodore, Henry, James, Elijah, Mateo, William, and Lucas. Okay, and the girls, Olivia, Charlotte, Emma, Amelia, Sophia with a PH, Mia, Isabella, Evelyn, Sophia with an F, and Eliana. There you go. I'm a little too traditional. Mike, Jack, Ryan, Bob, and Chris. There you go. You know, what can you do? Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for identifying a problem that is going to get worse without help. Thank you. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, we got to end with this, friends. Americans don't know what to do with the president who actually listens to them. President Trump weighing in on J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio for the next president of the United States. Oh my, next. Literally,
my name's never on the list.
My name, first of all, my name is extinct. They literally, they retired names that have come and gone. I don't even think mine ever came. It was invented and whatever. Let's see.
I know Wendy's.
Is Wendy on the expired names list? Because they literally do that. They're like retired, expired, whatever it is. Let's see what it says.
Mine never got on a list to be expired.
Is Brock a popular boy's name?
No.
I love how many people spell yours with just a C.
Or B-R-A-C-H.
A popular name. Let's see what it says. Brock is a moderately popular boy's name in the United States, ranking around 706. In recent,
I can think of 705 better things to name your
it
child.
peaked in 2003 at 243. So let's see. Where is Wendy ranked?
It peaked.
Unpopular girls' names. It doesn't. And they're like, wah, wah. No. Let's see what it says. No, Wendy is not ranked among popular girls' names today. It was 1,097th for girls in 2024. And then it's like far outside the top 100. Really? No duh.
So in 2000, what you say?
It said
Brock was
while,
popular.
yeah, it said 2003. While historically common, peaking in the 1970s with over 319,000 bearers nationwide, that was me, its current low usage reflects a dated perception rather than active trendiness.
You're dated and not trendy.
Tell me your ovaries are all shriveled up without telling me so. There you go.
My name's Wendy.
My name's Wendy. She's an old bitch. That's
an old bitch.
Oh,
Tell me your
gosh.
mother was a soap opera watcher without telling me your mother was a soap opera watcher. Oh, she named her son Brock. Grammy 2018 says I knew a Brock and a Wendy in the early 70s. Was it us? I knew one other kid with the name Brock. And I didn't really know him. I know he played on a baseball team against me.
I was the only one in my high school.
Me too. I remember standing in line one time when I was older, and this lady says, Brock. And I said, excuse me? And she's like, I'm not talking to you. And I'm like,
who's the other one?
I looked at her, I go, well, you just said my name. She's like,
did you say it like a snot?
Yeah, I did. I'm like,
that?
well,
Yeah,
you
I
just
figured
said
as
my
much.
name. And she's like, that's my son's name. And I'm like,
Oh, because I knew that. You
oh,
dumb.
well, how often do you hear it? Like, what? She's
could
probably
see
the
you
same
getting
woman that got
it.
upset I opened the door for her. Liberal.
Did you see that Katie Porter says a vote for her is a vote for affordability?
As she wants to give free.
Oh my God. Get the out of my shot.
Did you
I'll
see? She
save you
said
money.
Tom Steyer put that out.
Right.
Right. Because he knew you were going to run against him as governor 4 years ago. Right.
She's such a turd.
She's Ozempic. Yep.
Oh, across the fruited plain. Donald Trump is talking about 2028 a little bit, which is kind of weird. He's not usually one, I believe, who weighs in on matters like that. Who's going to be the next Republican candidate? Who's your dream team? So when he said this yesterday, I was like, what? But I want to read you this story because I think it really underscores why John Fetterman is popular among conservatives. Why Spencer Pratt in Los Angeles is becoming more popular among Los Angelinos. Why people like Marco Rubio are. If you can speak and be a real person and have views that you stand by and you're real and authentic, people like you. Even if they disagree with you, people tend to like you. President Trump listens. when he's out. He listens. And so how we got this fertility stuff. He listens to what people say. He gauges public opinion. Trump says Vance Rubio could be 2028 Dream Team ticket. That in and of itself isn't the interesting part of this to me. But let's read this. President Trump on Monday floated Vice President Vance and Secretary of State Rubio as a dream team ahead of the 2028 presidential election, polling attendees of a White House event on who they liked better and stopping short of offering an endorsement. Asking people in the room, engaging people in dialogue, going around the country. What do they feel about this or that? When was the last time you felt anybody in government cared about what you thought? That's what's so refreshing about this administration. That is why the Democrats are scared as stones, because they don't have any of that. That's why you need all the mechanisms of cheat that you can possibly get, from gerrymandering to replacing Supreme Court justices for ridiculous reasons, to packing the court, to fudging ballots so that they're rejected by Republican voters, right? All of this stuff, to faking problems at the polls, to all of it. That's how they have to win. Who likes JD Vance? Who likes Marco Rubio? All right, sounds like a good ticket. JD is that was a perfect ticket, Trump said during a dinner in the Rose Garden with law enforcement officials in honor of National Police Week. By the way, I do believe that is a dream team, he said. But these are minor details. That does not mean you have my endorsement under any circumstance. People laughed. But, I think it sounds like presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate, he added. He didn't say which way. Political strategists and observers have repeatedly questioned whether Trump would endorse Vance over Rubio or urge the two to run together on the same ticket. Rubio launched a bid back in 2016, as you well know, but he suspended his campaign after losing the primary to Trump. He returned to the Senate, where he served before joining the second Trump administration. Curious how people could be against each other, right? Tulsi Gabbard, Bobby Kennedy, Marco Rubio, Doug Burgum. How many people in this administration were at one point running against this guy or trying to defeat him in their own way? And how many of them has he brought into the fray to be effective in their own niche? That, in my mind, is really the magic of Donald Trump, the human being. I think he is desperately normal. And he lives a glamorous, high-profile life, obviously, as a billionaire real estate tycoon developer married to a supermodel and having magnificently able children and a lineage that is darn near impeccable. He's just a normal guy. A normal guy who wants to leave an America to his grandchildren that was better than he found it, or to stop it before it could be irreparably destroyed. It's not complicated. It's not complicated with John Fetterman to me. That I can separate. I don't need to agree with you. We don't need to be connected 100% for me to appreciate who you are and the things that you say and how you vote, right? I see this. This president wants to know what the people want, not what he wants. That's the opposite of a king, right? That's the opposite of a dictator. That's someone who wants to be your lightning rod. Let me get people together. That's what I do. And let's make deals in these 4 years that are as good for the American people as possible. And the Democrats simply can't compete. Not without cheating. So back to the opening idea, the truth, I believe, is a whole lot closer than we think, ladies and gentlemen. Every story we chip away at it. And many of them we've been on for 5, 6, or more years. But it's coming. Thank you for being a part of the show today. Come on back. Have a wonderful day. Love you guys. Peace.